Up to you by Penrite along. Are already in, so I think the fastest times are going to be put early on in this session.
Yeah, I agree. They will come rather early. These guys still have to learn that the track has changed, what has changed about it, and then put it into play as well. So their first lap they've gone around has been a rather slow one, a bit of a sighting lap, learning the track once again. But not unexpected at all right here. Luke Clouds is the first guy to get out there and cross the line. You'll see these guys spread out a little bit, most likely, try and get themselves a clean track when they do this. You may see one of the riders try and tag onto the back of someone to see if he can get a tow along and learn some new lines as well. So a bit of cat and mouse, a little bit of mental game, but yeah, plenty going on. Kate, back down on the sideline, what have you got for us?
Yeah, I just had a chat to Kirk Gibbs from KTM, his mechanic, and they were just playing around with a bit of suspension in that last qualifying. So he came in through P8 and he should be quicker in this top 10 shootout.
So the qualifying is going to be, as you said, determined by this. Suspension, of course, is a big part of this. The track has evolved, as we've mentioned, and it is going to be tough. This is a good shakedown for these guys to get out there and do some minor changes before they do hit out in Moto number 1. Exactly what Kirk Gibbs has done with suspension guys back in his team. This is a really good chance to see if they've gone the right way or not.
Yeah, very smart move from Tom Willis, who's tried to latch onto the back of Kyle Webster. He knows how fast Kyle is around here, and he also knows the fast times that he put early in the session. And
we have some times that are just coming up on our screen. We'll read them out as we go along.
Aaron Tanti, 1:39.9. Now that was right up there with
that
Kyle
equals
Webster. Yeah.
absolutely, that equals Kyle Webster's fastest time that he put out earlier. We did mention that there's been some slight surprises. Aaron Tanti, I expected to definitely be up there. With the new team, he's gone over to the CDR Yamaha Monster Energy team, and I felt that he was going to come into this series rather strong. Oh, look at this, Dean Ferris. Already we have our first, what appears to be down, as he throws away, that looks like part of his roll-offs, and that's in those big rollers at the back, so he looks like that might have hurt just a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like he's hurting, but I can't see any dirt on his shoulder or anything like that. I'm wondering what's happened. Maybe he's even perhaps dabbed a foot. It's so easy to give yourself a little ankle injury or tweak your knee, but he looks like he's back on the gas again now. So who knows what happened there?
We'll have to see if we can find out a little later on. It was off our screens for the moment. But I expect to see Webster start to really latch on to some good lines right now and some quick times. He is only 3 tenths behind Tanti at the moment, as they do their laps around. On screen, Jaden Rikers, the Empire Kawasaki rider. No stranger to sand league.
No, not at all. Rikers knows his way around a sand track, and he looks like he's just cruising at the moment, trying to maybe pick some lines. He didn't look super comfortable in qualifying before. However, he's going to want to try to drop his fastest time possible here to try to give himself the best pick of the grid for Moto 1 of the MX1 class. Now, also good to mention, $500 up for grabs for the winner of the AMX pole shootout. So, you know, there's a few stakes right there.
It's also a mental game for these guys. If you get away with the quickest time out of this, then you have that mental edge over everyone else. So very important that they do some fast times. Tanti's still leading this one, but look at this, 2:47.6 on the clock at the moment. Lead at 1:40. They've got 2 laps. They have to do it now if they're going to set a time. So Rikers needs to drop the hammer right now.
Yeah, he does. Kyle Webster's on a flyer at the moment, and from the body language and intensity from him around that previous left-hander and his current right-hander, he is absolutely hooking at the moment. So let's try to keep it on Kyle Webster for a little bit if we can. He's letting it all hang out at the moment. I'll tell you what, if there's someone that knows his way around the Wonthaggi circuit, it's Kyle Webster.
A little shot of the ground there, just showing you how loose it is at the moment. And these bumps, as you said, have developed up already. Nice turn through that berm. It looks like he's going into the final turn right here, so we'll keep an eye.
Surely he's going to move up here, but well, he's only moved up 1 spot above Lockie Latimer, so he's really struggling for lap time pace at the moment is Dean Ferris, and we do know he's coming off a recent injury, but talk about a guy who's in fine form at the moment, on camera at the moment, Aaron Tanti, freshly signed with the CDR Yamaha Monster Energy team, and he has just been in fine form during the off-season. Had a really good, solid win that we were lucky enough to be at the MX Skins event, Danny. And he looked, for an event that was so short, sharp and intense, he really looked
outside
so smooth.
Stay on 96 if we can, man. That is a flyer lap right there as he just goes past Tanti. Tanti looks like he's going to go for 1 more final lap as well as we look at the finish line. Wait for our Kyle Webster to come across. How did he go? Yes. Pips him at the post right there. 1:39.154. So Webster moves into the lead and he strikes the first blow. as we go to the very final lap right now for these guys to set down a time. The 9 machine that's just at the back of the screen there, he is setting a fast one. Todd Waters, we know, can ride sand as well as he goes past the mechanics area. And oh, a slight bounce out there with the rear end. I think he may just back this one down and learn the track, try and take the best out of this last lap into that first moto.
Yeah, a couple too many mistakes there for Todd Waters, and when you get back-to-back mistakes and you know you're up against the likes of Webster, Tanti, who are stringing together these kind of laps, then it might be best just to back it down and try to pick some lines and not risk having a big get-off, because let's face it, when you're going 110% like this on a track that we're seeing today, there's always the risk of something going wrong.
Nicely tipped into that turn, that rear wheel just finding that cushion all the way around the outside, as we see Waters nice and comfortable, standing up everywhere as he drops down once again towards this big tabletop that we spoke of in our intro. Gives him quite a boot, doesn't it? And I really like how he's getting through here, Lee. Those big double all the way through. Very smooth indeed. And it's one thing to put down a fast lap in these qualifying sessions, one quick time, but it comes at an expense. You really got to be putting it on the edge, don't you? You can't really run those levels in the race when we do get to it. Yeah,
you're exactly right, Danny. You mentioned earlier on they're getting a bit of a kick off some of these takeoff ramps. We mentioned earlier in the truck report that they've dragged a lot of sand up onto the takeoff ramps. It's going to start to form kickers on the top of the takeoff ramps, and you'll really, as the day progresses, we'll start to see a few kicks, a few front end dropping over these jumps. Checkered flag out now. Kyle Webster will be happy with that, but I believe Aaron Tanti might still be on a flyer. He's got one last chance to try to drop down that hot lap and try to get himself the AMX pole shootout.
Webster will be feeling very good about himself as we just look at the times on our screen as the checkered flag is out to signal the end of this session. And Tanti doesn't look like he's improved his time at all with a 1:40.25, that last one. So still quick times though, consistent quick times. As we jump over to have a look at a couple of highlights right now from that one. The Honda highlights here was Luke Clout trying to get out nice and early and string down some quick lines early on in this one. That also looking very well. He came across in 8th after that session, so really good for him to get up there, as we see Todd Waters also fighting his way through those rollers at the back. Ferris pointing the wrong way on the track. It's going to be something he's got to put out of his head and move into the race. Aaron Tanti was second in our fastest time, so really looking forward to the battle that is going to develop out of our top 4 or 5 riders.
Kyle Webster on screen at the moment, having a bit of a look around. He looks very cool, calm and collected. One of the nice guys of the sport. A lot of people comment how he's just such a cruisy, laid-back, relaxed type of guy. When you get him on the track, those horns come out. So watch out, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle Webster is your man in the Thor MX1 pole shootout, taking a very impressive win by over half a second over Aaron Tanti.
Here is the final standing of it. So Kyle Webster did put down the fastest. Tanti only 0.7 back behind them. Todd Waters 1.1. Luke Clout 1.9. So the first 4, there's not a lot in it. Coke Gibbs in behind them. Brett McCarth. Hayden Melross having a good one as well. Lockie Latnia. Jaden Rikers, and of course Dean Ferris, who we saw laying on the ground unfortunately. He is going to drop all the way back to 10th place. But luckily on the start here, it's not too bad. Let's go down to Cape with the winner of that one.
Kyle Webster, what a performance, number 96 for the Super Pole. Congratulations. We have a $500 gift card for you from AMX Superstores. Tell us about that lap. You are under so much pressure as you are the favourite this weekend, but you know this track pretty well. So give us your thoughts on your speed out there and how it's kind of progressing.
Yeah, no, it was a not too bad of a lap. I made a couple of little mistakes there. I've never really done that before, so it was a little bit overwhelming, I suppose. I pumped up a little bit and probably rode a bit tight, but no, it was good. I'm happy to be here on top, and it's good for the gate pick. But yeah, no, we've got 2 motos to go still, so quite a long day, and try and make the most of it.
Excellent stuff, Kyle. Well, you enjoy this, spend it wisely, and we'll chat to you soon, hopefully.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, boys.
Well, what a way to start our First round of the Pro MX here down in Wonthaggi. The track is looking great. This is set up to be a fantastic day. Really can't wait for the rest of this to get underway, but right now we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Penrite, a 100% Aussie company, pride themselves on their commitment to all forms of motorsport in Australia, from the very grassroots to competing and succeeding at the highest level. It's always been a big part of their DNA. And this real-world testbed for their products ensures the lubricants and fluids you buy for your vehicle have benefited from the development of being punished in a way that only competition can. Penrite, it competes, you win.
Welcome back to the 2022 Penrite ProMX presented by AMX Superstores. A huge congratulations to our pole sitter Carl Webster, number 96 from Honda Racing. And now we have a little bit of a package of who is who in the zoo at ProMX for 2022. Check this out.
We got one of the most hotly contested MX1 categories in recent history. We've got the newcomers up against the established stars. But one thing's for certain, it's going to be a battle of attrition right the way through to that final moto at the end of the year. CDR Yamaha Monster Energy rider Luke Clout returns to defend his title and is prepared to put it all on the line.
Yeah, I'm definitely fit and I'm ready to go. We've had a great pre-season. Things are falling into place, and look, I'm here to go and win, and that's my job, and I'm ready to go and defend this champion and put a #1 plate on my bike again and come and keep winning these races.
Honda HRC rider Kyle Webster steps up to the Premier class after taking the MX2 title in 2021.
The transition from the 250 to the 450 has been really, really good. I've really enjoyed it, and I guess honestly from all the downtime we've had over the last couple of years, I have spent a fair bit of time on the 450, but it's been awesome to actually set one up for myself finally. So I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it, and I can't wait to actually race it. By all means, I am new to this class, but I'm not coming in to come second, that's for sure. And I think, yeah, Luke's going to be solid. He is the reigning champion from last year, but yeah, I'm ready to take it to him.
Todd Waters continues with the Husqvarna factory team for 2022 with hopes of securing his second MX1 title.
So my 2022 off-season has been insane. We had a pre-season race up north, and we had all the big guns from south come along. Kyle Webster come up on the 450, and I even stepped back onto the 250 and versed Wilson Todd, and
we claimed the win in both classes, which is really, really cool. So I feel like my speed's good. I've got a great team behind me. I've got the bike that I want, and we're ready to go here in 2022.
Aaron Tanti joins the CDR Yamaha Monster Energy fray with a win already under his belt this year.
Yeah, when I first got the call up from Craig Dack, I was very excited. You know, this is by far like probably the best team in the pits, and I'm stoked to be here. It's been awesome. The transition's been really good. Really excited to you know, put it up there and fight with these boys for the championship.
Kirk Gibbs returns to the factory KTM team after stints with both CDR Yamaha and factory Honda.
The transition's been really good. Like you said, it's been a transition back to KTM. I spent a lot of time there and a lot of success. So really looking forward to it. Feel at home on the bike. Loving being back in the orange.
The 111 machine of Dean Ferris returns to racing under the Honda HRC banner after stepping away from the sport due to a serious back injury.
Look, my off-season's been an eventful one, to say the least, but loving the Rev machine. We did a lot of work and a lot of development on it. Obviously, it's been a lot of years since I've been at Honda, so really excited to just get out on the track now and give it a good red-hot go.
As you can see, the class is absolutely stacked, but it's all eyes on Kyle Webster from Honda Racing Team right now. Boys, I am so excited to go racing.
Okay, it's looking spectacular down there. What a stacked MX1 field we have got for 2022. Well, we're only just underway here for round one of the Penrite Oils Pro MX Series. When we come back after the break, we've got Moto 1 of the MXW class brought to you by Easy Lift. Don't go anywhere.
Carving through twisties, nailing the perfect landing, leaning into every corner, losing yourself on the open road. There's no feeling like it. The howl of the wind in your ears, feeling every vibration, every inch of the tarmac. Just right.
AMX. We live Motocross 365. Check us out online or call into one of our stores. AMX, proud sponsors of 2022 Pro MX.
To the Penrite ProMX, proudly brought to you by AMX Superstores. What a view we have here of the Wonthaggi circuit. We're going to go straight back down to Kate Peck, who's with Maddie Healy.
Yes, indeed, I've got Maddie Healy. She's on the Honda 250. Maddie, there's big expectations for you. You're a junior champ. We're really excited to see how you do out there, but we're also just excited to see 25 women line up on the gates.
Yeah, it's awesome to see how many women are out there at the moment. It's so much fun to race with them. I'm feeling really good out there. I had a few mistakes, bit of drama with my bike in qualifying, but I'm feeling good now.
And tell us about the track, because it's already getting a little bit rough.
Yeah, it's gnarly out there. It's going to be gnarly later on, but right now it's absolutely perfect.
Excellent stuff. Well, we're about to go racing. You need to get on your bike, and we can't wait to see how you go. See you on the top step, yeah?
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, boys. Thanks.
Well, Maddie Healy, an absolute superstar in the MXW class. Looking forward to seeing good things from her later on today. Well, it's time to go down now and have a quick little look. Danny Ham got to catch up with Honda team manager Yuriv Konski for a little bit of a walk through the Honda setup. Let's take a look.
There's no question when you walk around the pit area of a Pro MX that there is some very impressive setups, and one of them is the Honda racing setup right here. Really, really big setup. Why don't we go inside and check this out? Now, the Honda team this year is strong. Straight off the bat, MX2 champion from last year, Kyle Webster, debuting on the 450. This guy at Wonthaggi is going to be seriously hard to beat. Watch out for that. Wilson Todd, MX2, plenty of years overseas, international racing. He is going to be very fast, a champion before he left the Australian shores. Back now to do it again. I'm sure he is going to be very strong. And of course, former MX1 champion Dean Ferris returns to the team as well. So this guy is another very fast, capable rider. The Honda team is strong, but it doesn't end there. There is 22 riders here today that are directly supported by Honda itself, including 6 of the women riders, and 2 of them are actually factory support. So they are throwing a lot of effort into the motocross scene this year. Watch out for these guys on the track. Why don't we head inside and have a look at the big rig. Now, the lower levels of this rig is where all the work happens. This is the mechanics area. All of these drawers contain all the parts that could possibly be needed to repair any of them bikes out there. If they blow up, have some damage from crashes, complete services on the bikes can be done from here. And joining me, Yuriv, team principal. Mate, what a setup you have here with this big Honda rig.
Thank you. I mean, it's all about efficiencies. We look after everyone that's on a Honda here on the weekend in case they need something. And we need to build a transporter that provides us the efficiencies that we need to be able to look after everyone quickly, because no race waits for you, as you know, Danny. Yeah. We're able to run 4 motorcycles downstairs. You can see the tie-down points. And we're able to run 6 to 8 motorcycles upstairs. So we're able to carry at any given time anywhere between 8 and 12 motorcycles comfortably. Wow. This is our 3rd level, so we can carry bikes up to 8, if not more, up the top here. We actually lock them in backwards, so we've created a device, and then we set this up here for the riders. So the riders all have their own locker. They come up here, they get changed, they prepare. Again, they can get away from everyone. Yeah, up here it just transforms into the rider area. We try and keep it relatively clean. The boys get pretty messy. There's a lot going on race day, and it's perfectly made for me.
I was going to say your height is absolutely perfect. Now, you said 4 levels. Wow, the view, man. So good up here. There's a huge effort here from Honda, just looking around and seeing the amount of tents and stuff and the support. What else do you have in the line?
Well, we've got great support from Honda Australia. They see off-road racing as an important part of their business, and it's great.
So there we have it, the tour of the Honda Mega Truck, and what about this view? Amazing.
Well, what an impressive little piece there, Danny Ham with the Honda truck, and of course Yuriv Konski, team principal. But now it's time to head back down to Kate Peck, who's got a rider with us down on the starting line.
Yes, indeed, I do. Charlie Cannon, you're only 16 years old. You're in P1 for the qualifying, so you've chosen this gate. I saw you doing a little bit of gardening here. You're the first race to go out with MXW. What were you doing here? And you're only 16. Things are looking good already to start the year.
Yeah, so I was just trying to get a smooth flat line through here to have a good start. Getting a good start really makes the race a lot easier, so that's my goal. And yeah, I'm really excited. This is my first ever MX race, so I'm keen to get underway.
And what do you think about the level of competition in this field? Because it's fantastic to see so many girls lining up here.
Yeah, of course. There's a handful of really quick girls here, so it's going to make racing really interesting and good to watch.
Excellent stuff, Charlie. Well, we wish you the best of luck with Yamalube Yamaha, and I know that you need to get your bike in right now, so we'll get out of your way, but enjoy the racing, and we'll see you at the podium.
Thank you.
Well, an absolute superstar in the sport of women's racing, fresh out of juniors, and to be honest, I can't remember the last time that she's lost a national junior championship, Charlie Cannon. Now, I'll fess up, that's the one I was talking about during the opener when I said we could quite possibly see a rider straight out of juniors and win the championship in her first year as seniors, which I believe will be the first time that it's ever been done. And she sits as favourite at the moment. She wins expert class boys up in Queensland, Danny Ham.
That's quite a feat right there to be able to run up there. But just talk about the depth in the class that's come about this year. On screen there, Taylor Thompson, also from up Sydney way. She is very quick indeed. We saw her at the start of the year at a few arena cross races, really sticking it to the guys as well. So lots of talent in this one. I'm excited to see how this goes. A huge field for the girls here at our first round.
Well, the two Taylors, Taylor Thompson and Taylor McCutcheon, coming through juniors, it was always those three girls, Charlie Cannon and those two Taylors, that would battle for championships and to fill out those podium spots. So they're the young blood in the women's class here, and they're up against some established stars in the women's category. Emma Milicevic, Maddie Brown, some of the girls, and we see both of them next to each other. Honda have such a very, very strong presence here in the MXW class, along with, of course, Maddie Healy, who we mentioned. We see her on screen there at the moment, number 12 in that bright yellow and grey riding gear. But so much hype coming into the first of these motos here. And we said it before during some of our briefings that we can't believe how exciting this is and how stacked each of the fields are, but it's all a guessing game until the gates drop. Everyone thinks they know roughly where they're going to be, and until we see that checkered flag come out at round one, you don't know for sure, do you?
Well, I think we're going to see that through all of our classes too, Lee. We can say that, Kyle Webster's going to win. He's done the fastest time, or, Wilson Todd in the MX2 is going to win because he's done the fastest time, but racing is just so different. By the time you get down to the actual racing time, things change a lot, so it's definitely not set in stone. But this one's almost ready to get underway. Before we do that, we're going to take another quick break. Don't go anywhere.
AMX and Penrite have joined forces to give away the ultimate moto workshop valued at $5,000. You can set yourself up with the best from Penrite, NetPro, RHK, Motion Pro and much more. To enter, simply purchase any Penrite product at AMX Superstores, scan the code and you're in the draw to win. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? Rush in now to AMX for your chance to win. AMX Superstores, your one-stop shop for all motorcycle accessories, proudly supporting the 2022 Pro MX Series.
Race to the front with the all-new Maxxis motocross tyre range. The next-gen MX lineup features racing-specific compounds and advanced tread patterns that maximise traction at the highest level of racing. Leading product innovations extend across the entire MX range, offering a premium performance option for all types of terrain and conditions. Put the all-new Maxxis MX range to the test.
Welcome back to Wonthaggi for the Penrite Oils Pro MX, brought to you by AMX Superstores. We, of course, here at Wonthaggi, and what a track we've got on our hands here. We are ready for race one of the Women's Championships. We're about to get underway, Danny Ham. Not too far away from the drop of the gate.
The tension is building between all of these riders on the gate. I know just the general hype around the pits. Everyone is so super pumped to get racing underway today. Once they figure out exactly where they sit in this championship or in these races, they'll be able to go back and do the work after it. But it's a bit of an unknown across the board, all the way through our classes. Who's going to be sitting where? And this class is definitely an unknown for us at the moment.
It is. Now, let's not forget 2 motos, and we have got accumulative points to decide who gets the overall. In the event of a tie-break, for example, one of our riders goes out and goes 1-2 in the second moto, and another one goes 2-1 and gets the 1 in the final moto. They will end up taking the overall win with the highest place finish in the second moto. So a good little thing here about motocross as opposed to supercross, where we tend to have that one main event. You need to definitely try to perform in that second moto.
Looks like a little bit of confusion on the line just there. I'm not sure the girls have been out for their sight lap yet, have they? I'm not too sure, but it's been a while since they've also been on track, so certainly it has changed a lot. But it does look like at the moment that we might be getting ready to jump straight into it, as we see only 1 minute until they get underway. Okay, so we are just, we've got confirmation that it is just, should be 1 minute until we get to our sight lap. It does appear some of the girls are still a bit confused.
Yeah, I think they believe that they're about to drop the gate for the race here. But, sight lap to start off with the Pro MX here in all classes. Gives the riders the ability to be able to go out, have a look at how the track's developed and changed. So even for the girls here, it's been quite a while, a good hour or so, and since they've seen the track, and would have changed quite a bit.
You see the blocks there under the toes of our rider on the 93, Samantha Beecroft. Some of these girls are so short on these bikes, so there's just a little bit of an assistance, and we do see it in all the classes. I think even if you look in the American scene, Eli Tomac was running some the other day. I was very surprised to see that. But it definitely helps the riders with their start, so that's why you see those blocks on the gate there as the girls head out for their sight lap. Now, very importantly, as you would know, I would know that you use this lap to find those lines. If you don't know these lines, especially if you're buried in a pack and you need to find that alternative line and you haven't looked around, it's going to bring you unstuck straight away.
Yeah, there's some smart things you can do on the side lap, and there's some very silly things you can do on the side lap, such as crash. Let's have a quick little look here at the lineup at MXW, brought to you by Easy Lift. Of course, top of the list there, number 84, Emma Milicevic. We've got Taylor Thompson, Maddie Brown, Taylor McCutcheon. Have a look at these names here. Maddie Healy, Charlie Cannon, there she is there. Amy Roberts, Talia Drew, Ebony Harris, Danielle Foote.
As we look through the rest of them, Tanisha Parner is also in there, Holly Geeves and Megan Bagnall also making up the list. We saw on screen a moment ago the 758, also of Charlotte Beryl on the outside gate, so she will have a good swing into that first turn from all the way out there, but you do have to commit from that outside line if you want to come away with the whole shot, which is very, very important when you start out your motos here at any motocross, and especially here at Wonthaggi.
Yeah, Wonthaggi is one of those tracks, Danny, where vision is key. Like we just mentioned before, one of the things you don't want to do is have a crash on your sight lap, and you certainly don't want to be dropping that throttle side grip into the mud. That's not the way to start things up.
Now, it looks like that could have been the 369 machine. Stephanie Tixiria? Sorry, I'm not sure if I got that one right. It's just the smallest little mistake.
Well, we've got
just the back.
We've got the first of our Honda replays happening. We haven't even started our race yet. So glad to see that the replays are working. Also, very much looking forward, Pammy, to seeing the first of our special slow-mos with a new camera that we are debuting this weekend at Wonthaggi.
There's something about the sand that really offers you a spectacular view when you throw in a slow motion camera, the sand flying around. And as you said, the vision of all of these riders with their goggles and stuff is going to be very important. So a good start is key for any race, but more so in this one. You can only throw so many tear-offs onto these goggles, and if you have a bad start, then it's going to make life very difficult indeed.
Yeah, and the deeper you throw yourself into the pack and having to climb your way up towards the head of the pack, you go through more of those tear-offs, or pulls of the roll-offs, depending on which choice you take going in. There's positives and negatives when it comes to vision. With the tear-offs, of course, it's a thin bit of plastic that covers the whole of your lens. So when you pull them off, it completely clears your vision. However, you tend to only have 8 pulls of them because of the laminated tear-offs. That's the way that they set them up. With the roll-offs, you've got a roll of film that gives you, I believe, around 30 or 40 pulls.
Maybe even more.
Maybe even more.
Yeah, it's huge amounts. It's a massive difference. You can see there the yellow goggle edges of that bike, the 948. They are the set of roll-offs with a little tag on the left-hand side. That's where they pull the string, and it brings across a clear film every single time you pull that. You could go through an entire day on the one roll, really, if you're gentle with them. So plenty of opportunity to get that clear vision.
And there's risks involved with both, Hammy. Of course, with roll-offs, the risks are you can get a little bit of moisture up and under the film, and it locks up the ability to be able to pull that string, and all of a sudden you need to throw your goggles off. The risk with tear-offs, and I know I've done it, have you done it, Danny, where unfortunately you grab the whole pack of 8 and they come off at the same time, so you might as well have only had one on in the first place.
You do that on lap number 1 too, always, without a doubt. That's when it's going to happen. Now, we saw in our races earlier in the year, those arena crosses that we mentioned, one exceptional starter we saw over and over again, Taylor Thompson. Absolutely lightning out of the start every single time. She has lined herself up the very inside. Now, at this track, I wouldn't maybe guess the inside to be the absolute best unless you can really dive in deep and command that inside line.
Yeah, however, if you jump out exceptionally well, you can come across and control that first turn. You just need to be careful because the old over-under move, there's all kinds of things that open themselves up here.
Well, we are only seconds away on this one. The 15-second board is already up. Board sideways, gate is down for our first race of the year. And look at that start.
Cannon has got herself a bike length and a half there, but someone trying to go around the outside. What a jump out of the gate by our young, just turned 16-year-old, only just moved out of juniors a couple of months ago. Charlie Cannon out of Queensland, riding for the factory-supported Yamaha team, is showing these girls a clean set of heels. We try to pick up, I believe that's Emma Milicevic has moved herself straight up into that second place. Oh, huge crash. That's brought down Maddie Healy. It's brought down Taylor Thompson as well. Yeah. That was a huge crash, and both girls look to be not getting up in a hurry. If we can try to just slightly change that camera angle to see how the girls are. Oh! So, and that is also our number 2 rider, Ebony Harris. So we have had carnage here in the opening corners.
Holly Vandergoor there also just trying to push the bike off the edge of the track there. If we can see who's up front and where we're still going with that one, as these riders will be attended to by some of our fantastic first aid.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have the Race Safe crew on hand here as the Red Cross flag comes out.
So we just wait for some more footage there as Taylor Thompson back up and running, which is great to see. As we look just in the background there to try and pick up our lead rider so we know what's going on. There it is. Charlie Cannon still out in the lead on the number 7 machine. So
looks like Emma Milicevic is hanging on to the back of her a little bit.
About to bring up exactly the same thing. Emma's a very experienced rider and knows this circuit as well, so it's going to be a good race right here. Hopefully she can tag onto the back of them, and you can see already those bumps starting to really develop. And so you go over that tabletop and into the rollers. They will head down towards where we just saw our crash, so they will have to take their time. Yellow flags and also the white cross when we do get to it. That means that they have medical on track. They will have to slow right down. But at the moment, race continues. There's Taylor Thompson starting to get going once again.
Well, great to see. This is devastating for Taylor Thompson in a sense of her points chase for the championship, but it's great to see her backing up on the machine because that was a very big crash. And looking forward to being able to bring you guys, as we see Charlie Cannon slow right down for the injured riders that are on the ground, which points towards the fact we've still got a couple of those girls down. We'd like to give you guys a little bit of an update as soon as we hear further news on the condition of Maddie Healy.
Emma Milicevic still sitting in there in second place and in a good position, runs right around the outside there. A little bit of a different line, swings it through as they head into this long sweeping left hand. Can be very difficult if you are not sitting yourself nice and comfortable into that cushion. As we see Cannon there. Oh, it looks like Taylor Thompson could have had, maybe just had a little moment again there. A little bit of a stop in that corner. She is a long way back, so a lot of work ahead of her, but she is tough. We've seen her come from well back in the pack before and continue to charge right through as she just goes past. Also, I think there was a 41 of Ellie Beecroft just there as well.
Well, there we see Maddie Healy back on the bike. That is fantastic to see. It was looking pretty scary there at one stage. She went flying off the track. So good news. Continues to be Charlie Cannon, our race leader. She's got herself a 2.5 second lead over Emma Milicevic. Now, Hammy, this really is your token, what we were talking about before, the newcomer versus the established star. You don't really get much more of an established senior girl than Emma Milicevic, and of course Charlie Cannon, the new girl on the block. So Emma is not going to want to watch Charlie ride off into the distance. No,
she really needs to keep her in sight the whole time and try and get that toe along. Drag into the back on some lines. We see Maddie Healy on screen. She'll be probably a lap down, I think, at the moment, but definitely back up and looking pretty comfortable. I'm sure there's a little bit of pain there that she'll be dealing with, but great to see that she is back up and running. So our riders have 10 minutes to go in this race, plus another lap, as Maddie still continues to work her way through the field at the moment. There is Samantha MacArthur on the 111 machine. In behind them, and just in the back there, I saw Taylor Thompson also on the 8 machine. So a little bit all over the place at the moment as far as how they actually sit on track, with I think Taylor Thompson also a lap down. Madison Healy just in front of her on our timing at the moment.
Well, Danny, another one of those girls not long out of juniors. There's a lot of talk about Honda-mounted Taylor McCutcheon. She is super fast on those hard pack tracks. On these rough, sandy tracks, she really is a pint-sized rocket. She's tiny, and she gets kicked around a little bit, struggles when the track gets super tough like this. So she's going to try to get a half-decent points haul today. But currently, as she sits at the moment, 5th place Taylor McCutcheon. She's 34 seconds behind Charlie Cannon, who continues to stretch her lead out to almost 4 seconds now.
Oh, that looks like it could be the finish line, unfortunately.
111 Samantha MacArthur, and she has hit the deck hard.
Just looking at the line there of, looks like, I can't even pick what's happened there. Possibly over the bars, I would think. As we take a look at this Honda replay. Oh, unfortunate. 2 riders coming down and a very hard, coming together, I should say, very hard hit.
Major cross jump from that young lady that come across.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it wasn't done on purpose, but that's just maybe cross-rutted up the takeoff ramp, a little bit of a mistake. As we go on screen there with our number 10 rider, Taylor McCutcheon, who continues to sit back in 5th place. But here is our young lady of the moment, Charlie Cannon. A very, very clean number 7 on the front of that Yamaha machine.
I did catch a couple of laps ago that the Honda of Ebony Harris was still on the side there. So it's been moved now. I'm sure that she's been well looked after by our race safe crew, and hopefully we see her back out there again in the second one.
Fingers crossed. That was a nasty crash straight off the gate, and first drop the gate for 2022 in any of the classes, and within 2 corners we've got ourselves our first massive yard sale and a couple of girls down and out. But great to see Maddie Healy back up and on top of things and riding around. She looks to be stringing together some decent lap times, but unfortunately for her, she's a full lap down at the moment.
Just looking at our leaderboard on the side there, the Easy Lift leaderboard, it has Brown there in 3rd place. We haven't seen her on screen yet. Madison Brown on the 18 machine, doing very well. She's a little bit back though at the moment. That first lap was just chaotic, so they didn't really get themselves settled in before the gaps started to open up straight away.
Yeah, I think we may have had a little bit of a mistake from Emma Milicevic back in 2nd place, because she's dropped back to 8 seconds now behind Charlie Cannon. And I think with the consistency and speed that we've got from Charlie up at the head of the pack, combined with her fitness. She's an absolute demon with her off-bike training. You need to keep her somewhere within reach in that first half of the race if you've got any chance. Now, let's look at the replay here, the Honda replay. Tuck of the front wheel and then over the bars and off the side of the track. Nasty crash for these two riders. But that could have been a heck of a lot worse.
So much worse, yeah.
Wrong place at the wrong time for Taylor Thompson, and even more so for Maddie Healy.
There's absolutely nothing they could do about that, or just from a small tuck in the front wheel by the Honda rider in the first part of that crash. As we see our race leader back through exactly where we saw that crash. The track, not too bad. We're used to seeing such sharp, choppy bumps through there, aren't we, over the past years? And right now it's still looking very soft and actually a little bit more pleasurable to ride when it's like that compared to those nice, really hard, choppy bumps. I think that might be possibly Charlotte Burrell. I'm taking a stab at that one, 7:58, it looks like.
Yes, correct.
So just a little tip over, and it's quite easy to do on these ruts. You know, they do run a long way out of the corner, and if you don't have that balance perfect, you can just simply tip it over on the inside a little bit too much. You try to turn towards the inside of the turn to hold yourself up, but you simply can't get out of that rut, and you just tip over.
Now, as we approach the 2/3 part of the race here for Charlie Cannon, our race leader, she is rapidly coming across lapped riders here. And as we saw just there, one of the lap riders, a little bit of a mistake stepping out sideways out of that corner. It's your responsibility as the race leader to negotiate your way through and make sure you avoid these riders, because quite often they won't do it on purpose, but they'll make a mistake and almost bring you down. So this is tense times, and while we have a look back here in second place, Emma Milicevic, she's back 11.2 seconds behind the race leader. She's still doing everything she can to keep her within reach, but she's got a very nice, handy gap over her teammate, Maddie Brown, who's 27 seconds back in third place.
As you know yourself, Lee, sand is a challenge to ride, and you know, some of these girls might not have actually had a chance to ride as much sand as we see, like right here. This might not be their favourite surface to ride on, unfortunately. Talia Drew, yeah, just down there as well.
She's a great rider.
Yeah, there's so many really good riders, and I think we're going to see their strengths shine throughout the series at different tracks as well. So, you know, they might not be quite as close to the front in this particular round, but when we do move to another round, that surface hardens up a little bit. We'll see some different riders really showing their strengths as well.
On screen at the moment, Emma Milicevic doing a great job on the Honda machine. One of our two factory-supported Honda riders, so great to see her up there in the top three. Like we've mentioned many times, you can't win the championship in the first round, but you can certainly lose it. Big mistakes that we saw from Taylor Thompson, from Maddie Healy, no fault of their own. But next thing, you find yourself chasing your tail throughout the championship, trying to make up those points.
Well, Madison Healy, of course, number 12, has moved herself into 8th place. As we see Emma just negotiating through these lap riders, almost touching elbows there as they went through, running out of room in that one particular corner. McCutcheon back there in 3rd place. Fourth place. Roberts there in 5th, who was on screen not too long ago. Amy Roberts, 43 machine C, is also still doing well. And Danny Foote, we haven't even mentioned her yet, up there in 6th place on the 35 machine.
Yeah, Taylor Thompson has made her way up to 12th place. She's got a full 19 seconds if she wants to try and make her way up an extra spot to 11th. However, Maddie Healy, after that crash in 7th, she finds herself 18 seconds now behind Danny Foote. Now, not quite sure what happened to Tanisha Harnett, because it was only about 30 seconds ago I had a look at the leaderboard, and she had about 15 seconds on Maddie Healy. So obviously a mistake there from Tanisha Harnett, unfortunately for her. But as we speak, Charlie Cannon, race leader, continuing to stretch out her lead to almost 20 seconds. What a statement she's laying down here in Moto 1 of the MXW, brought to you by Easy Lift.
Taylor Thompson just going through the screen there. So used to seeing the T2 on her bike. Now running the number 8 for the series. The number 10 machine there. Taylor McCutcheon is also having a good ride. 29 behind them. Megan Bagnall also on the Honda there.
Now, it's interesting, Danny, to watch the track and see how it's evolving at these early stages for this round 1 of 2022. And we look back to round 1 2021 when we had such different weather conditions. We had hail. We almost had hail coming into the commentary box. It was that bad. We were ducking and weaving in here. So to look at the track and how it's evolving at the moment, it looks great. I was speaking to some of the track workers earlier on in the day. They were a bit worried that they won't be able to get enough water onto the track because of this brutal sunshine that we've had over the last few days. But really, if you look at it at the moment, you just could not get better track conditions.
It looks fantastic. As we see on screen at the moment, Madison Brown, the 18 machine, who does sit there in 3rd place, having a bit of a lonely ride at the moment, but a great way to start your championship. Oh, that was a moment.
And the lucky moment. She landed,
yes.
She landed sideways.
I did expect that to give a big flick back the other way on landing, but she did very well there.
Nice compensation.
Held it together, so a small moment like that brings up that heart rate, I'm sure, if it's not already up there at her peak level. It's the last thing you want to do with only 1:26 in the moto left to go. Oh, again, just a little bit off balance.
A few back-to-back mistakes here from our number 18, Maddie Brown. She finds herself 33 seconds behind 2nd place, Emma Milicevic, who really has stamped her authority in that 2nd place. But unfortunately, she has got nothing for our race leader at the moment. There really is a massive gap between all 3 of these guys, and they're going to come back. I can promise you the pits in the MXW class, when they come back and they have a chat to their mechanic, their dads, whoever it is mentoring them and helping them out, they are all going to be scratching their head and going, what do we have to do to try to keep up with this Queensland Yamaha rider?
Well, it won't be long till she sees the last lap board. She makes her way through the centre part of the track. It's going to be close right now to whether she receives it this lap or she's going to have to do an extra lap. The front wheel tucking just slightly going through there. Just opens up the throttle to make sure that she sits there in that cushion through that left-hander, looking very comfortable, still standing up. And when it gets to the late part of the stages in the motos, you know, Lee, it becomes very easy to lose that fitness, start to wear out, and that's when the mistakes do start to happen. So really important that these girls and anyone else who's out there doing these motos needs to be very, very fit. It's easy to make those mistakes, mentally even, when you start to feel a little bit tired on that bike.
Yeah, well, Charlie Cannon, she's about to receive the last lap board right now, and I think she's won enough women's class races by a very, very big distance to know how to back it down and control the race. There's a couple of things you need to do. You need to make sure that you don't push too hard, but you also don't want to slow down too much, do you? Because if you slow down too much, you start hitting jumps, hitting corners at different speeds that you're not quite used to, and quite often that's when you can bring a mistake on.
Thompson just through the screen there, also sitting in behind a couple of the girls, trying to make her way forward as well. Another one of our riders just battling it out with those ruts, but Cannon has done nothing wrong in this one. And I think this could pretty much set the tone for the year, Lee. I think we'll be seeing Cannon up the front and not in 1st place, but certainly up the front, battling it out with the rest of these girls.
Well, I think within the first 10 metres of the starting gate dropping, she had a bike on from the whole field. And I think that comes down a little bit to her. She's trying to dodge and weave and negotiate her way around fallen riders here on this final lap. She's just, it's kind of like a Mario Kart game for her at the moment. She's almost keeping her eyes out for banana peels out there, but she finds herself over halfway through this final lap here, and she has shown everyone a clean set of heels. She's about to take maximum points here and start her championship campaign for the Easy Lift MXW class here at Wonthaggi for the Penrite ProMX Championships. What a fantastic way to start the season.
I did just see her put another lap down on the 111 machine. Samantha MacArthur, who we saw, had that huge crash off the finish line. So great to see her up there. Shows the toughness of these girls and their riding abilities to get back out there and really stick it out, even when it's very, very hard and I'd say very painful after that crash.
Well, through those very treacherous rollers for the last time, Danny Hampshire's got herself 2 corners to go. And what a way to start Moto 1 here in the MXW Championship. last corner, and a solid victory. She'll be over the moon. We all expected it, and she has delivered with spades. Charlie Cannon on the Yamaha factory-supported machine has done it and come up trumps here in Moto 1. A terrific win, and what a sensational job for the young Queensland girl fresh out of juniors.
There is Scotty Bishop off to the side there. He's just congratulating his rider as we see Melissa Vick coming around now through the second last turn. She will come across in second place. A bit of work ahead to try and keep up with Cannon, but a great way to start out the series also.
Fantastic job there, second place for Emma Milicevic, and Honda filling out second, third and fourth with Taylor McCutcheon also on that number 10 machine. We've got Tanisha Harnett on screen at the moment, having a little bit of a look over. She had a couple of little incidents in this particular race that's seen her back in 8th place. But Maddie Healy, we just made quick mention there, in 7th. Not too bad after the shenanigans we saw in that early stage of the race.
Well, at least one thing they can say is that it was caught on camera. It was a really big crash, and they were able to walk away from it. So great to see them back up and running, and I'm sure they'll be pushing it very hard going into that second moto as well as the final few riders come across and take the checkered flag to close out their race.
And one thing I can promise you, Danny Ham, is this truck will look nothing like this for their final moto of the day.
Still plenty of laps and races to go for this track. It's got a lot of changing to do before we finish out this one.
Taylor McCutcheon there we see just riding back. Now we're going to head down now to Kate Peck, who is with our race winner.
Charlie Cannon, congratulations from Yami Lube Yamaha. Well done. That was an incredible race. You controlled the race beautifully with over a 20-second lead. How was it? Talk us through it.
Yeah, so I went off to a really good start. I pulled a whole shot. And then from there, I just rode smart and consistent lines and just rode my own race. Didn't worry about anyone else. And I'm so stoked to win it overall.
And this is your first year stepping up into a factory team, so the nerves must have been really with you at that start line.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous. I mean, I get nervous every round. It's kind of my own thing. But once I got Moto 1 out of the way, the nerves are kind of settled down, and I'm keen for Moto 2.
Okay, congratulations. Well done, P1. Great way to start the year.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Well, that is what changing of the guard looks like. Ladies and gentlemen, Charlie Cannon, welcome to seniors and stamping authority. Results of the MXW, we've got Charlie Cannon in first place, Emma Milicevic second, Maddie Brown in third, and Taylor McCutcheon rounding out the top 4. Back to 5th place, Amy Roberts. We've got Danielle Foote in 6th place. Back there in 7th place, Maddie Healy with a great comeback ride, and Tanisha Harnett in 8th. Amy Barch in 9th, and rounding out 10th is Taylor Thompson with a good comeback ride from hitting the deck.
As we look at the Honda highlights and what a start it was, look at that slow motion. Some of the girls are unfortunate for Charlotte Perrell there. And there is that front wheel tuck. What a crap. That is a spectacular crash. Absolutely spectacular.
Very well caught by the cameraman there, I must say. Taylor McCutcheon on screen here trying to make her way through the pack, but just struggling ever so slightly. A fantastic come from behind ride from Maddie Healy on the privateer Honda for Shepparton Motorcycles number 12 machine. Talk about your cross jump right there. I'm sure unintentional, but let's hope that she's okay.
Well, we did see her back up lapping around, so great to see her. Looked like she was okay. Certainly going to be a little bit stiff and sore after that one, but there was no one that could see the direction that our leader went to, and Cannon was just absolutely flying out there.
I'd love to see where Charlie Cannon would feature in the MX3 class against those guys. She is in an absolute league of her own. Emma Milicevic here, 2nd place, strong and the next best. 2nd place overall. She still puts herself in a good position for Moto 2. Because who knows what can happen at the end of the day. We're going to see completely different track conditions. A Yamaha rider there just making a little bit of a mistake. But at the end of the day, checkered flag came out, and it was all about the Queenslander, Charlie Cannon. And a fantastic job it was for her. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go down now to Kate Peck, who is with Mr. Peter Doyle, our boss of MA.
Peter Doyle, the CEO of Motorcycling Australia. We're here going racing at round one at Wonthaggi for the ProMX. Oh gosh, we're just so excited to be here and to go racing. Tell me about what we can expect this year, hopefully a full season.
Yeah, look, I think everybody's just excited to be back here at the track. We got down here Friday and they were lining up to get in, the competitors. They're all keen. We've got MX1, 2 and 3, and we've got the MXW back, so the women are back for the first time in a couple of years. So we're looking forward to getting in 8 uninterrupted rounds this year.
Exactly, and also what I've been hearing, the chatter around the paddock, is that the classes are super stacked. So tell me a little bit about what is the exciting things that we are going to see.
Oh, look, I think you've got, you know, if you start with the young fellas, you've got the MX3 guys who have won last year. You know, Fox, these guys are going into the MX2 class. That talent's moving up. You've got the MX2 guys moving into MX1, but you've also got some MX1 guys that are returning, like Dean Ferris. You've got Kyle Webster stepping up into MX1 this year. Aaron Tanti's got some good backing now. He's in with the TDR team alongside Luke Clout. It's going to be a pretty exciting year.
The list goes on. Well, PD, enjoy the racing because I know we are all going to.
Thanks, guys.
Everyone is excited to get the day underway and their first races underway. As we see on the line right now is our next race, the MX2 Moto #1. As we head back down to Kate with another rider.
I've got Liam, Blake Fox's mechanic. Now the boys are about to take off. This is his first race in this category from MX3. How is he feeling?
Yes, for the ProMX, it's his first MX2 race, and he's super excited. Can't wait.
You can imagine that the nerves might be up, like if the butterflies will be going.
Yeah, he's excited. Probably nervous as me, but that's all right. It'll be good.
Excellent stuff, Liam. Thanks very much and good luck out there.
Yeah, can't wait. It's going to be great.
Thanks, boys.
Liam Twyrold right there on screen, someone that I worked with for a very long time. His father, Rob Twyrold, I'm sure he's back home watching somewhere. Was my mechanic way back in the day as well. Jesus, showing my age. As the riders are set here to get this one underway. He was speaking, of course, of Blake Fox, who won the MX3 class last year. And the riders heading out now for their sighting lap. One of the riders that will be fast is that guy on the 21 machine who leads them out for this one. Also another rider that has stepped up from the MX3 class. That, of course, is Ryder Kingsford, who was very fast last year and will certainly want to get himself out to a start early on. 64 there, following him out for this sighting lap. That one is Dylan Wills now onto the Husqvarna, who is very fast. We know how fast this guy can go. With a new team, I'm sure he's going to want to get out there early on in this one and really show some strength and get himself a good result. But this field is so stacked at the moment, especially with these guys that have moved up from the MX3 now into the MX2. It's really going to be a big challenge for them to see where they sit in this field. I saw on the outside there also the number 5 machine of Alex Larwood, who is no stranger to this track. Lee Hogan, he does a lot of laps around here with his training crew, and I'm sure he'll be very strong as well in this one.
Yeah, he's going to be exceptionally hard to beat here, but I think we can't really look past the number 20 of Wilson Todd on the factory HRC Honda machine, and he was a good 2 seconds up on everyone in qualifying for the MX2. So this is what we would expect, but let's have a quick look at the lineup here. The Pirelli MX2 lineup. Wilson Todd, number 20 on the HRC Honda, in fine form in qualifying. Alex Larwood, Bailey Malkowitz, Jesse Dobson, Ryder Kingsford, Reese Budd, a few of the big names there, Blake Fox and Dylan Wills. Connor Tierney, Ty Jones. We've got Brody Connolly there. Haruki Yokoyama, Kawasaki, Empire Kawasaki rider.
He has waited a long time to get on track. It's going to be good to see how he goes. Hugh McKay, Tasmanian rider, who's also up here. So riders from all over the country really putting a big effort in to get over here as we go through the rest of the field. 40 riders, of course, on the start line. There was more than enough talent to get into this one, and it's going to be very tough to cement yourself a good start against such a quality field off this Moto #1 start line.
Sam Peltz there, rider from deep down in Gippsland, down Lake Entrance Way. That is our lineup for the Pirelli MX2 class here. Super deep field, as you mentioned, Danny Ham, but at the pointy end of the field, I really think there's about 2 or 3 riders. One of them's a Honda, a couple of Yamahas. They're going to be battling right the way to the end of the championship. How about the quality of that slow-mo? That's what we were talking about earlier on. Beautiful starting technique right there.
Yeah, there's opportunity. There's plenty of grip in the ground, as we can see right there. An opportunity for all of these riders to get one practice start in. They haven't been behind the gate before this moment to get a practice start in. There's only been one race there to throw a rut down. So really important that they get the right position, and this is where the qualifying times shows its importance as well. You need to have that opportunity to get yourself a good starting gate, not be locked out into a position either too far on the inside or too far on the outside where you're not comfortable of being able to really launch out and get yourself a great jump out the gate. We saw a second ago also the mechanic just tapping down the dirt there. For anyone that doesn't know, they're trying to clean up that rut, get rid of any loose dirt, and offer that bike as much traction as they can so that they can launch off that gate, as we see the crowd also enjoying this beautiful weather that we've got here today.
Yeah, as you mentioned, a little bit of start gate preparation. I like to call it doing the gardening. And quite often the rider will do it, and they'll have their set way that they like their rut prepared. What you want to try to do is you want to keep a little bit of the rut there, but you don't want it to be too deep. If it's too deep, you end up having to climb your way up and out of the rut and can quite possibly pop that front wheel up in the air, as we see that green flag flying. But likewise, you want a little bit of a rut. It holds your wheels in place and it helps to rocket you and launch you out. You'll notice if you look closely, those front fenders exceptionally close to the front wheel. The front ends are pulled down via what's called a start button, and we just saw perfectly there one of the Kawasaki riders locking in their fork system that holds that front end down, and it won't pop back up until the riders get on those brakes nice and hard entering into that turn one. A late comer here into the starting grid, trying to get his fork button popped in, and he is struggling.
Right without it.
That's Royce Snell. He's just going, you know what? I'm going to be popping wheelies out of the gate here. We're ready to go. Pirelli MX2 Moto 1.
Honda rider 196, I think it was, with a beautiful start out of there, but humongous crash in the back there.
No, that was Wilson Todd with the whole shot, and then we're trying to pick up, that's number 208.
Riley Fuxo. He's up and okay though by the look of it, trying to find out where he's at the moment. But straight into the lead goes a Gas rider, 29.
Ferguson.
Well done. What a start. So the whole shot, as we see these riders come through that very first part of the turn, the whole shot isn't decided until you exit out of that second part of the turn, and we'll figure out who that was just in a moment. But we did see the 20 get a great start, but he hasn't come out in front. Sits there in second place at the moment. A few more riders going down.
Liam Andrews there on the Honda Ride Red supported Honda 250 machine. He's obviously had some kind of altercation in the early stages here of MX2. Haruki Yokoyama, the Japanese rider on the Empire Kawasaki, is sitting there in a reasonably good position, but we're trying to make out our positions at the moment. That looks like Brody Ravenhorse trying to go around the outside. And then we see Alex Larwood there,
the number 5,
tipping it up the inside there.
And as we look to the 7-hole shot award,
Noah Ferguson earning himself, must have been super close.
Very tight
between himself and Wilson Todd. But Wilson Todd, with his lap time that he put down in qualifying, he's only 0.2 of a second behind Noah Ferguson. Noah's one of the newcomers to the MX2 class, not long out of MX3, so he's reasonably young, and we see Blake Fox there mired in the middle of the pack trying to do some good things at the moment. So
he's out of top 15 at the moment. He's a long way back. I'd like to see how this lead is going at the moment, because it's so tight. 1.5 seconds a gap though, so Ferguson, he's setting down some fast speed at the moment, as we see him on screen at the moment. There it is, Ferguson, the gas rider, looking very comfortable. There is Wilson Tidy in second. Who's there in third place? Yamaha rider, Brodie Connolly.
Yeah, that's a surprise right there. And this is the type of thing that we're talking about. Riders where you say a name and you go, are you expecting to see them up in the top 3 in the early stages? Well, no. So great job, fantastic. Let's hope he can stay up there, keep it up there for a little while.
Dobson.
Jesse Dobson back there on the Serco Yamaha in 4th place, and then Larwood
and Yokoyama right in behind them. So they've got some great
job.
Yeah, big hitters up front early on in this one. We did see Bailey Upwards also have some good qualifying times as well. He sits there in 8th place. Ray Paul's behind him, Dylan Wills, and a few more of them. Ryan Kingsford's all the way back. Reese Butt, that's someone we haven't even mentioned yet. The number 3 rider, 14th place. Yeah, so he's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Yeah, and just in the top 10, Dylan Wills. So riders that we'll be expecting to see a lot further up in the pack are a long way back with a lot of work to do. 25 minutes plus a lap here, and that will be the format for the complete season here. I was just about to make mention, Danny, speed is no issue whatsoever for Noah Ferguson. We expect to see this kind of riding for him. He looks a little bit loose and ragged and on the edge, but that's just business as usual for him. Every time I've ever seen him ride, whether he was a junior, as he turned senior, his early years as a senior, that's the way that he rides.
Go check out this Honda replay at the moment of the start, and yeah, it's difficult to see exactly where the jump came from there. But have a look in the middle of the field. It should have been.
Yeah, that was a great jump there from Wilson Todd. But
there's Ferguson on the outside.
Around the outside. He just held it on a bit longer, and there was the crash. That was the tuck of the front wheel and just straight over the handlebars. Maybe come across a little bit of a loose patch, a bit of a wet spot that he wasn't, and goggles off.
Yeah. Just ripped them off.
Off.
He smacked his head hard into the ground, as we see our race leader still leading this one. A few of our riders a little deeper in the field. Here we go, rider Kingsford. Oh, 35 has gone down.
Unfortunately, right, let's take a quick look at the Honda replay here of that
bottom of the screen.
Riley Pittman crash.
Oh, over the bars in the mid-turn.
Back stepped out, front just folded and went in. That would have caught him by surprise. He looks like his legs a little bit caught under there as well.
Up and running again. One of the only, well, there's not many of them out there. A two-stroke 250. To see him head towards the finish line to knock down a lap. As I look to the intervals on the side there, and Ferguson stretching it out just a little bit. He's opened up that gap over Wilson Todd there in second place. Larwood has moved himself into third, Dobson to fourth. It's what we expect to see these guys moving themselves forward also. See the 19 machine there of Bailey Middleton also getting his way around the track. Oh, one rider off up the inside there, the number 7 machine. That is Connor Tierney. He was deep. That's a nice inside line. Completely off track, but yeah, deep inside line.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake there on the Alpine Stars turn, and unfortunate for him, he finds himself a little bit further back in the field than where he would like to be. He's a name that we have heard a lot of over the years in Western Australian, the kind of the likes of, you put him on the same calibre as Jaden Rikers, etc. He finds himself having moved from the MX1 class back to MX2. So another couple, a little bit of mistakes, no problem whatsoever. Heart rate still wouldn't have got over 80 right there for Noah Ferguson. Just another day at the office.
Oh, very well off the back of the bike. They're trying to get as much drive as they can. So they just go past one of our laps. Ferguson again with that front wheel tuck. So there's 3 in a row for our lead rider, and Todd is starting to close in. He's visually right there now.
Have a look at Larwood. Larwood is right there as well. Yep. So I predict over the next 5 minutes or so that we'll see a pounce
off track. There is the 4th mistake. You cannot continue to make those mistakes and expect to maintain those positions on track. As we see a new lead rider right now of Wilson Todd, exactly where I expected him to be. And Larwood out the outside. You're right, Lee. He has come from a long way back. He sat there at least 6th or 7th in the opening laps. And that's only just what we caught. He could have been even further back. And he is absolutely flying at the moment. We will see, I think, a pass in not too much time at all into second. Will he challenge for first?
Yeah, I think the thing that we need to consider is that Noah Ferguson's not going to just lay down. He'll just keep going until he either has a crash or, you know, he sees his TV time here.
I see the answer. It's on our screen. It's just off to the side here as he charges down the outside. That last lap, a 1:44 for Larwood compared to lead rider 146.
Wow.
So there is the difference. Can we see some faster times now that Wilson Todd has some clear track in front of him? It's going to be a big effort, but right now Larwood is absolutely flying. He is going to challenge this one out, and it's going to come down to who is the strongest and fittest by the time we close this moto out.
Well, at the head of the pack and looking exceptionally good, Wilson Todd on the HRC Honda machine. The good thing about it, he's not only fast, he's looking smooth. You're not seeing very many mistakes at the moment. And I think the only thing that may change his intensity is if Larwood gets up into second place. If we say that, outside, we see Larwood trying to make the move now. Outside, beautiful. And he's got an outside line in this next corner.
Does like. Yeah, absolutely. He blasts around the outside. Ferguson's quick. Not quick enough. So Larwood now moves himself into second place, the Yamaha rider. We see some exceptional times coming out of him at the moment, and he is looking smooth and comfortable at the same time. So we will see a challenge, I think, here for the lead. Whether it's going to be able to make it happen or not is another thing, but here visually already he's closing right in.
He's closed right in onto the back of our race leader at the moment. Like I said about a lap ago, Danny, I think that's the only way we're going to see any change in riding style from Wilson Todd, because he'll just ride all day smooth and calculated. If he's got himself a nice 3-4 second lead, no pressure, but he's not going to want to give up that lead. If he knows, and he will know very soon, that he's got Alex Larwood right behind him, and you'll start to see him start to get up under that ragged edge just a little bit.
Okay, again, there we go. Equal lap times that last time around. I think Larwood has a couple of strong points on this track. I'm trying to decipher exactly where that is. There is Dobson, I think, in there in third place now. Behind them, the 11 machine, that is Bailey Malkowicz. We did mention him earlier on. He was a long way back as well. So all of these guys have moved themselves forward a long way to get up there within the top 5. But, oh no, one of the riders down again. There's those whoops that you spoke about in the track preview earlier on. It is a very tough area to get through. We see many guys straight away.
Well, Danny, as soon as you get a little bit tired through there, you maybe not gripping quite as tight with your legs, getting a little bit fatigued, all of a sudden you hold on with your hands a bit tighter. Next thing, that bike winds up like a clock. She starts going side to side, and when you're already turning in that right direction, it's so easy to get piffed down the track, and quite often that bike will chase you into the ground and give you a good hammering into the dirt. So let's hope that rider is okay as we continue to keep our eyes peeled. We've got 15 seconds on the clock still to go, so 10 minutes in the book here, 15 seconds plus a lap to go in the Pirelli MX2 Moto 1. Wilson Todd continues to lead. He's got a 1.5 second lead now over Larwood, who's stretched the gap now over Jesse Dobson, and then Malkowicz, then Yokoyama. So we have certainly had some kind of massive mistake from Noah Ferguson, who, no surprise there with how he approached the start of that moto. He's going to need to come into Moto 2 with a slightly different approach.
On screen is Brody Connolly after a great start to this moto. Sat there in second or third place early on in this one. Still having a great race back there in 6th place. Dropped back a little bit now, but he has Kingsford coming up behind him. And I did see a moment ago on one of our shots the 64 machines of Dylan Wills, who was well outside the top 15 on those opening laps. I actually couldn't even find him on the list. Our screen wasn't showing back that far at the time. So he has moved himself forward quite a long way as well. Another contender that could put a lot of pressure on in the coming motos throughout the series. Dylan Wills, very fast indeed on the Husqvarna as well. But they're going to have to really work hard to keep up with this guy. And I think at the moment, Larwood, he's got the chance to. He hasn't dropped back that far.
No, he's still right there. And I think what we're seeing is two slightly different techniques. We've got the tall, long and lanky Wilson Todd, who places the bike methodically into the corner, and he kind of looks like he's not going too fast. Right down there we see number 16 Caleb Barner having a little bit of a soil sample, but he's back up and into it again. But Alex Larwood keeping the Honda rider exceptionally honest at the moment, and he's in perfect position at this time of the race with 13 minutes to go to be able to mount some kind of a challenge in the latter stages. And I think that's where we're going to see riders' fitness start to come into play, Danny.
Two different lines through that right hand. I just noticed how the approach that Wilson Todd had there, very inside, just taking his time. It wasn't much of a run halfway through the corner. He just really easing his way around there, still managing to control that lead. When you've got someone this close, you start to feel the pressure. You know, 1.4 seconds isn't really a comfortable lead, but it's better than him being right there on his back wheel. He's still able to somewhat control that lead a little bit as he makes his way into small laps riders, which could play into this as well. It could play into the favour of Larwood, but every time we get to here, Larwood closes up. This is a strong part of the track.
He always seems to close up just a little bit there, but you just can't underestimate the smoothness and how calculated. How about that line there from Wilson Todd? Yeah. Very, very innovative, finding a little patch of dirt that's nice and tacky, but not bumpy. You're just driving exceptionally well, and I believe looks to have just stretched out that 1 or 2 metres that Larwood caught up in that finish line area. He got it back again with that fantastic line through that corner.
It was an area that didn't even have a tyre mark.
Yeah,
this
didn't have a line at all.
The beautiful thing of watching someone with such talent, and you know, this is the kind of thing that you would expect from a rider that has been overseas, riding against some of them huge name riders and picking up some of them really refined skills that you get when you actually ride with those guys. Oh, Larwood, a big mistake there. It looked like he was going to square across that rut, but it just blew out a little bit. On screen there is another good little battle going on. You can see them bouncing their way. Oh, big bounce up the inside there. I can't pick up the number of the rider. It's the 60 machine. It's
Royce Sanel was the rider who just made that last-minute entry into the start gate. Didn't get to lock his fork in, unfortunately, and that certainly wouldn't have helped his job out of the gate trying to get a good start.
Up and over the finish line again. We have 11 minutes left in this race, so the fatigue starting to set into these riders.
Now, Danny, we haven't given them too much of a mention on the commentary, but let's just make a quick little point about the Serco Yamaha riders. Jesse Dobson in 3rd place. He only finds himself 6 seconds back from Larwood, so a bloody good pace that he's got going on at the moment. And Bailey Malkowitz with a broken bone in his finger, who just had to have medical clearance yesterday to be able to race, finds himself up in 4th, just 3 seconds behind his teammate. So great job here and very consistent points here in Moto 1 to those two boys.
Just looking at our times on our timing screen, I can see a few standouts over that last lap. 1:49 the riders has dropped back to. Something that stands out there, Jay Constantino also doing a 1:49. He's back there in 11th place, 2nd fastest. Actually, scrap that. He just went the fastest on that last lap out of everyone, including the leader, by 0.3 of a second.
Wow. John Constantino, part of the very popular and, well, I guess you'd almost say famous, training group down here in Victoria for Beaton's Pro Formula. When you look at some of the riders that include Alex Larwood, Kyle Webster, Regan Duffy's part of that. He's back again with that program, and then you've got the likes of Caden Minia, you've got Campbell Williams. All these riders are all part of Beaton's Pro Formula down here in Victoria, and Jai Constantino is one of those riders. So clearly the kid knows how to ride, part of the Empire Kawasaki team. Just obviously didn't get the start that he would want, but hopefully the team will be able to give a bit of a debriefing in between motos, and he'll be able to take some confidence from knowing the kind of lap times that he was dropping down in this mid part of the race.
The number 8 machine that was just on the screen just moments ago, Zachary Watson. He sits back there in around about 23rd, I think, at the moment. So he's got a bit of work ahead of him. The 4:37 is that. 4:27, Ty Jones on screen as well. So plenty of riders out there also having a massive run. Looking at the times again, have a look at that lead last lap around, half a second faster for Larwood. So things should be tightening up a little bit at the lead, I would assume, as we see Malkowitz on screen. The 11th machine, he was buried a long way back as well early in this race, so he's moved through quite a long way.
Yeah, well, once again, Larwood's sector time's gone green again, so he is closing up ever so slightly on Wilson Todd. So be good to keep our eyes peeled on those guys. Our Serco Yamaha riders continue to fill out those 3rd and 4th positions with Jesse Dobson and Bailey Malkowitz, respectively. Haruki Yokoyama on the Empire Kawasaki back in the top 5. Reese Budd, it's gone from bad to worse. The number 3 rider from last year. He's got himself all tied up there in the RP Performance Filters banners.
It shows the height of the edges of these tracks and how difficult it is. Oh, that's right before the finish line. And we've got a replay of this. Go to the Honda replay right now. There's Reese Budd around the outside, squares it back to the inside. Okay, this is a weird...
This is having a battle there with Isaac Ferguson managed to make the pass, and it's happening right here. Oh, kick sideways, and that's headed him off the side of the track and down and out.
Wow, that was a strange crash.
Yes,
very strange crash.
A 10.0 from the Slovakian judge there with the foot landing. That was beautiful. Both feet at the same time, stuck the lander.
And certainly not the way he would like to start his campaign here. There is our race leader.
Stretched out the lead back so slightly, yes.
Yeah, 47 the last time around. So I think these guys have been sandbagging just a little bit. We saw 49-second lap time to go, 149s, down to a 147 on that last lap. Has Wilson
you know what I think's happening? And that's what I think's happening at the moment, is that he knows what his comfort zone is, and he's got to this start of this part of the race with 6 minutes to go where he's gone, okay, it's time to step it up a little bit and let's see what you've got. Can you stay with me when I get up into this kind of lap time, or are you right on your ragged edge to be able to stick with
here's
me?
Our leaders on screen coming through right now. Perfect angle from the cameras. The 20 machine off to the left. There is Larwood, the Yamaha blue machine. Just went past out of screen as well into this next turn as they work their way through these lapped riders. So maybe the lapped riders are playing into this as well.
Yes, certainly. I think that was the case right there. And let's see how nicely Alex Larwood will be able to make his way past this lap rider. He's had to take a line that he's not very familiar with. However, he's still carried good speed through there, but he has lost a little bit of that very important ground that he made up.
Thompson still sits back there, 3rd place, 14.9 seconds up behind as our race leader. A small moment there. That's the way it's got to be, though, sometimes. You've got to ride on that edge. These little mistakes are not uncommon for these guys and barely even worry them a lot of the time. As we see, does that Blake Fox? No, it's a 23 possibly. George Knight maybe going through there. Yes, it is. So, George Knight just getting through those rollers best he can at the moment. He is a little bit back.
Well, John Constantino's made his way up to 8th place now, but he finds himself only 0.5 of a second behind Ferguson, number 149, who currently fills out that 7th place. Have a look at the gap between 1st and 2nd. It's almost, you can throw a blanket over these two guys now. Larwood has really started to pick that pace up a bit, and with 5 minutes to go, anything can happen. Bailey Malkowitz, a little bit of a mistake. Has it cost him a position, though?
Up and over the finish line. Yokoyama's not too far back off there. Will we see him come up? There is Yokoyama on the green, Kawasaki on the right of screen. So he was out next rider back in the list. So he's still got plenty of room. That is Malkowitz over Yokoyama. Unfortunate little mistake, but still sits there in 4th place.
So once again, close the gap up to 1.3 between our 1st and 2nd place riders. And that's been a great battle. I don't think throughout the duration of this whole moto so far, Danny Ham, that we have seen the 2.0. It's been in the 1 second gap the whole time. It's got up to high 1 seconds, but back down to 1.3 now. And it hasn't really got much closer than this.
Malkowitz looking comfortable. Still on that Yamaha going through these very rutted out sections. The green bike in the background, that is his next rival trying to catch up. Yokoyama, 386, Japanese rider. And this is a good hit out. Yokoyama's been waiting for this for a long time to get out on track here in Australia. Who is that?
That looks to be that Liam Andrews has gone down on the Honda Genuine machine. And unfortunately, one mistake can very easily snowball into another one. And I think that's what we've seen here. Oh, it's just come in a little bit too hot, tucked that front end, and it's thrown all that body weight over the front.
Yeah, a little stab of the brake. I'm sure he wasn't expecting it to grip and slow up quite as much. Oh, is that no, that's Malkowitz. So he's still comfortable back there in 4th place. As we see the clock run out. There is our Japanese rider. Ryuki Okayama, very short on that bike. He's a former Japanese champion. And I'm sure he's super pumped to finally be out on the bike here at Wonthaggi, racing in Australia. They're doing a good job too. He also had to move up some places from early on in this race. He didn't get the greatest of starts, but made some passes early and set himself into a very comfortable 5th position. He's just riding this one out. As we see on the side again, that interval time is closed up once again for our race leader, Wilson Todd, and Alex Larwood.
1.1.
Yeah, it's tight with only 2:41. So this is the business end of the race. Really needs to make things happen right now if we can get it to get these guys on camera. It would be fantastic to see exactly how tight it is, especially considering they're still going through these lap riders. It won't take much for Larwood to put down a big intense effort.
0.6 of a second.
Yeah,
we are under 1 second, so this is the closest that we have seen our battle between 1st and 2nd place.
As we see on screen, we'll keep an eye out for them. There is the 188 machine of Thomas Rodenhorst. He's going into the whoops just up the back there. And you get a wide view. We might be able to pick up them in the background to see exactly where they're sitting.
Here we have it back on screen at the moment.
Perfect.
Wilson Todd on the HRC Honda machine. He's got company in the form of Alex Larwood as we get down to these closing stages. Just over 1 minute, 1 minute 30 to go, and we will see the last lap board out. There's Liam Andrews trying to get out of the way. He's having a little bit of a look over his shoulder because he knows the race leaders are coming. He is going to have a tornado with the number 20 machine coming flying past in a second.
Well, essentially, there's only 2 laps left to go, isn't there, Lee? It's really important for Larwood to try and make these passes nice and quick. These lap riders can really be the difference between a race win or even having that pressure. And he needs to make these passes early.
Oh, off the side of the track. That was close to a huge mistake there from Wilson Todd. Alex Larwood, for the first time in his whole race, taking that inside line. Yeah.
He's had to. The lap rider was on that outside line. There's a little bit of his riding style. Wilson Todd's riding style has stepped up. You can see there's a little bit more urgency in it at the moment. He realises that we are getting towards the end of this race, and Larwood still is right there. But again, that is stretched back out to 1.5 seconds. So,
well, that was a lot to do with our lap rider right there.
Yep. Up towards this big tabletop before the rollers that we're seeing.
It's going to be touch and go, Danny. 22 seconds. Will we see
another lap?
Another lap. It's going to be almost to the second as we come through. 15 seconds, and we've got 2 corners to go. Peak time may just expire. I think 8 seconds. Will we see it here? This is going to be about as close as we've ever seen. No, there's going to be 2 laps still to go. 2 seconds in it.
They've given the last lap board too.
Last lap board. Wow.
Yeah, so we'll have to see this. Our timing says still 2 to go. So that's exactly what Larwood needed. Look at that nice line around the outside. Very, very low over that jump. Keeping that momentum going. Oh, bad run right there for Wilson Todd.
Let's see if he finds that beautiful line here and gets right up into it. Not too bad, but that's allowed Larwood to get right onto the back of him once again.
That almost looked like he was a little bit tight through the woods that time.
It did, yeah. He started out really far to the left-hand side and looked like he copped a little bit of a kick.
Larwood right onto the back wheel now as we get to this closing part of the race. Through this long left on that back wheel, stepping out all over the place. You can see that there is a lot of urgency right now. Larwood knows it. As we've just lost them off the screen again, they're off to the left. Our lead riders through that top corner right there. He is right there. He can smell the fumes at the moment. Can Larwood put the charge in over these last 2 laps?
Well, what he would have seen is those couple of mistakes from Wilson side to side. But that's what Larwood has to do. He needs to let it all hang out. He's got one opportunity here. He's got a 24-second gap over Jesse Dobson back in 3rd place. He can afford to make a little bit of a mistake. But is that a big enough gap now? Has Wilson Todd done enough and put enough distance between himself and Alex Larwood? It's going to take a pretty big mistake from here. It's certainly looking like Wilson Todd on the Honda HRC machine, has done enough to take victory here in Moto 1 of the Pirelli MX2 category.
It will be interesting to see how we go around this corner. Our scoring says we've still got another lap.
They have to give the checkered flag because they gave the last lap.
Yep. So let's see as we go up here. No, they're waving through another lap. Look, Larwood thinks it's over.
Yep, well, here we go. And even Wilson Todd's had to look over his shoulders. So Larwood's still chasing. You know, the fortunate thing there is that Wilson Todd didn't think, okay, it's time to pull off, because that could have been disastrous for the Honda rider. But there's another lap and another opportunity here
there
for
was
Larwood.
Only 2 seconds when it came across the line there. That was a hard decision for them to make, but yeah, you've really got to let that time completely run out before that last lap board is shown. So I don't think they'll do that again if it comes up through the rest of the day. Still comfortable in the lead is Wilson Todd.
It looked a lot smoother through that section that time, but Alex Larwood is super fast.
Yeah, through here. Yeah, always quick through here, up to the inside.
Beautiful inside line there as well. So he's put himself back into position, because let's not forget, he almost thought that it was checkered flag time, didn't he? So he allowed a little bit of a gap to happen. He is putting this racetrack pressure on our race leader. This is going to go right the way down to the wire. This is such a critical corner. Great corner speed from both riders.
Yeah, so there's mistakes through there. That last lap around, Larwood was outside and completely messed up the berm. But I think out of the two just then, Wilson Todd much cleaner through that part of the track. And I think it might be enough right now. I think he is getting to the point where he's only got a few more turns left to go in this one. He's still managed to control that second. He's done well to control that 1 second lead this whole time.
He has strung together an exceptionally clean final lap here, and what he thought he'd already finished the race as he comes up and under the checkered flag from that lap prior. But 1 corner to go, and what a way to start his series campaign. Moto 1 victor for the Pirelli MX2 class, Wilson Todd on the factory Honda HRC machine. And an impressive, gallant ride there for Alex Larwood back there in 2nd place. These two have really shown and stamped their authority, and that they're both going to be a force to be reckoned with here in the MX2 category for this season.
Long way back to Jesse Dobson on the 14 machine to come across the line. He should close out in 3rd for this one. He's taking some deep breaths right there. He is put in that race.
Well, I expected Wilson Todd to come out on top, but I thought it would be a pretty easy win. I didn't think he'd be fighting all the way to the checkered flag for that. So that'll be confidence inspiring for Larwood. And you know what they say, a 2nd place is as good as a win in Moto 1, because all you've got to do is turn the tides for Moto 2 with a win, and you've got the overall.
Especially if Larwood comes off the track this time and he feels comfortable. And, you know, he's not breathing too heavy. If he felt like he can do that again, then mentally that's going to be a big, big win for Larwood.
So fantastic job for our Serco Yamaha boys, holding on to 3rd and 4th place, respectively, Jesse Dobson and Bailey Malkowitz. I'm sure Malkowitz is feeling the pain with that broken bone in his finger, so an incredible job there. And Haruki Yokoyama on a track that I would not think would suit the pint-sized Japanese rider. He has got a heart of gold, that kid, and I tell you what, he's done exceptionally well here, rounding out the top 5. Ryder Kingsford, fresh out of MX3. That's a good result for him, 6th place.
Absolutely. There is Reese Budd going across the line after a terrible opening Moto number 1 for his championship this year. Unfortunate for him. A couple of crashes, mistakes have put him a long way back, so he has got plenty of work ahead of him, and it's going to be tough, but there's plenty of races to do it in.
Well, I'm liking what I'm seeing here for MX2 Moto 1. It was a great battle. Honda versus Yamaha, Todd versus Larwood, came all the way down to the wire, and no more than 1.5, 1.6 seconds separating those two riders throughout that whole race. Great job from those two boys. All right, let's go down to Kate Peck.
A huge congratulations to Wilson Todd from Honda Racing Team. My friend, this is an amazing way to start your campaign back in Australia and with the Honda team.
Yeah, for sure. He doesn't get much better than a win, you know. It didn't come easy. I was struggling a little bit, but, you know, we'll go back and tool down and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, tell me about that battle with Alex Larwood, because it was getting pretty tight there and there was a little bit of last lap confusion too.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening. I was seeing the last lap board come out just as I passed, and then I got it another time. Someone was telling us to keep going, so yeah, 2 last laps and a finish. And
excellent stuff. Well, congratulations for your win. A fantastic start for you for the Pirelli MX2 Moto 1 win. Well done. You go get rested, and we'll catch up with you later.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Thanks, boys.
Congratulations, Wilson Todd. Fantastic job there, taking a sensational victory in Moto 1 of the Pirelli MX2. Let's take a look at the results. Wilson Todd from Alex Larwood back to Jesse Dobson, rounding out the top 3.
Yokoyama with a great ride. Kingsford, as you mentioned, up out of MX3 in MX2. A really strong result. Will's back there in 9th place after a terrible start to that one, but made it a long way back. Hugh McKay also on the 46 machine, having a good ride in that one.
Brody Kennelly started up very high in the top 3 there, faded back to 11th place. Not sure if he had some dramas. Reese Budd, 3rd place in the championship last year. Not what he wanted from Moto 1 here. He'll be out to make amends. Last year's MX3 champion, Blake Fox, 13th place here in Moto 1 of the MX2.
Chandler Burns back there in 18th. Ravenhorse back there in 19th. We did see him on screen just a little bit. And the rest of the field also having a good ride, a strong ride for a lot of guys. A few changes probably need to be made by a few other riders. It's a tough track, and they're really going to have to put in if they want to be up there in the top 20. I mean, it's deep. This field is really deep at the moment.
We said it before, we'll say it again. It's all a guessing game until the gates drop at round 1. And we just had a first gate drop in the Pirelli MX2 Moto 1. And here we see the Honda Highlights, a couple of bars tangling there halfway down the straight. And now, of course, we saw the carnage with the tuck of the front wheel in this beautiful slow-mo.
I was going to say the same thing. We didn't see it on those first 2, but there was so many bars tangled up down that start straight just then. We should have had more riders on the ground than we did. Great way to open this one.
Bailey Malkowitz there, a little bit of a pull of the roll-off on the Serco Yamaha, and our early race leader, Noah Ferguson, number 29, and we saw a mid-race tuck of the front wheel there. All kinds of carnage going on. Riders not too happy.
Was that Ferguson? No, that wasn't Ferguson there. That was earlier on. But there was the pass for the lead. We saw Wilson Todd just moving himself up. And then it wasn't too long until Alex Larwood also made his way around Ferguson and really put in that hard charge towards the front.
The number 88 rider there, of course, who was right up there, Brody Kennelly, in the early stages of the race. But come down to the wire here. As we said, as Wilson Todd said, up there with his race 1 win interview, we had 2 last laps and then a checkered flag. So a little bit of extra pressure for those guys with a little bit of confusion in there. But Jai Constantino, after a terrible start, throwing down, as you mentioned, some very fast lap times in that mid part of the race.
It'll be interesting to see how some of these guys get out there for their second moto. They'll go back.
Spud, yeah.
Yep, especially that guy. We know he is so much faster than that. Well, he should be up the front more so than he was.
It's traditionally a good starter, Danny.
Yeah, absolutely. Malkowitz over the top of the berm there. So a lot of things need to be ironed out by a lot of the riders. They'll go back into the pits after this one and reevaluate their thing. That was that moment just off to the edge of the track also. So very, very close there for our race leader, but managed to hold it together. And what a way to get this one going as well.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing some early season jitters going on from some of these riders. Some mistakes that you'd almost expect to see in MX3, not so much MX2, but we saw a lot of them then. So let's keep our fingers crossed that everyone keeps it rubber side down when we see MX3 very soon.
This will be a great one. It's an unknown for us. We do know of a lot of good riders, and it's going to be that guy on screen. Remember him last year, the 664 machine?
Yeah, he's one of our, certainly one of our fast riders.
Hunter Collins at Canberra.
Yes.
He was so fast, and he had a big crash, unfortunately, but he was one of our top runners up there. So there's a few riders that we do know in this field that are going to be quick. They will definitely be up the pointy end of the field, but there's some new guys. Liam Andrews around the outside, 25 machine.
Well, just a little bit of background knowledge here. Just a little bit of background information for the MX3 class, a new thing that was introduced at the start of last year and was a big hit, exceptionally good and super exciting. And we have 14 and 15-year-old juniors up against 16, 17-year-old seniors. So the oldest of the juniors versus the youngest of the seniors, all big guns, all trying to make a name for themselves. We've got the lineup here of the Maxxis Tyres Moto 1 MX3. Campbell Williams was our fastest in qualifying. Jet Burgess-Stevens, Caden Minia, watch for that name. He was second fastest in qualifying. However, he is 14 years old and he has 2 years of juniors still left in him.
Cooper Holroyd, Byron Dennis, I've seen both of these guys having some great races earlier on in here. Kobe Drew back there in the 10th place is also another rider that can go exceptionally fast. Kai Woods, another one. There is just so many young guys at the moment in this one that could potentially be up there and running up front of the field.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to come out and stamp their authority. We've had a few conversations about this. As you mentioned, Connor Towell, he was someone that got a couple of podiums last year as a junior. Well, he's a senior now, along with Campbell Williams, our fastest qualifier. And Campbell Williams, like we mentioned before, part of the Beats Pro Formula setup down here, who regularly ride this track here, knows this track exceptionally well. Coming off the back of a recurring injury, a broken shoulder blade. He's done it for the 3rd time, Danny. So unfortunately, it's something that plagued him last year with his final year with us, with the Factory Honda Junior team. And he had it a couple of times, and he's done it just again recently. So he's only just back on the bike. So he's shown his exceptional pace in qualifying. However, we're going to have to see how the fitness is based off that shoulder injury.
As our riders get into the start gate, see another one of that slow motion shot, and just how much wheel spin there is from these bikes as they get going. The idea is to try and keep that wheel from spinning not too much, get as much drive as we can. And yeah, when you're spinning, you're not really going anywhere. Hard to nail it down though in loose dirt like this as we head back down to the start line with K-Pack.
Yeah, is it just audio?
Down with K-Pack.
Yeah, indeed. We've got Campbell Williams who's sitting in pole position. So he's got an injury, quite a decent injury right now. So he will be riding with that, but he's really excited, really nervous. He's from New South Wales, but he's been living with the Beaton crew, so he knows this track well. It's really exciting to see how he goes.
Yeah, great pick up there, Kate. We were just having a quick little chat about that injury, that recurring injury, unfortunately, for Campbell Williams. He's got a broken shoulder blade. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever had a massage before or had one of their mates find a bit of a pressure point on your shoulder blade there, but even just to push on it, it hurts. So I'm sure you don't have to stretch the imagination too much to imagine how painful it would be to break your shoulder blade. So he did that twice last year. He's done it again with just a very, very slight, easy tip over in a corner, another little fracture of that same shoulder blade. So hopefully it stays okay for him and he has enough strength to make it through, because super fast, and he had a good race last year where he was right up in that podium position, and that was as a junior. So first year of seniors now, let's see how he goes.
Well, all the bikes are lined up. We have the 30-second board up. It won't be long until that turns sideways, and we get ready right now for that gate to drop. Who will jump out first in the Maxxis MX3 and get that whole shot? Beautiful start through the inside there. Was that Hunter Collins, I think? The 60 machine, no glass around the outside. That looks like Brock Flynn that had a great jump out there as we try and go. Oh, one rider goes down, 2 riders, 3. A bad place to crash. I think that was a 25 machine I saw. Jai Campbell, 751 also down there. Angus Pierce, I should say. It is there, Campbell, the 25 machine, as we try and pick up our race leaders to see who come out in front of that one.
Yeah, so you were mentioning Brock Flynn as a gun rider out of Western Australia, Danny. He's got a big future ahead of him, and they do a lot of travelling to be able to get over to the East Coast and race all of these big races.
I saw Collins back there quite a long way back as well. As we pick up some of these riders going through there, look in the background.
Looks like
a couple of Hondas there.
Looks like we've just had someone challenge for the lead here. If we try to get back to that head of the pack and see who's doing what. We've got 3 riders abreast there. That would look a little bit scary. but try to pick up who that rider was that has made the pass for the lead. We've had a rider go down. We've just got those Alpine Stars banners.
Matthew Peluso.
No, that number 100.
Head number 2 on his back.
Right. Number 100 it was, Kai Wood. So, really young junior out of Queensland, and he's got many years ahead of him. So great to even see him here, but big mistake in his early stages of MX3 Moto 1, presented by Maxxis Tyres. We can have a quick look up at the head of the pack with the battle for first and second place.
Pick it up on our timing, I think. We just, there is, it's still the 60 machine up there, possibly. No. We're a little bit further up in front. Okay, Flynn across the finish line.
Campbell Williams. Williams' timing is telling us in second place. So a good position off the start here. Here we go. Back in the head of the pack. Brock Flynn, number 60, from Campbell Williams, back there in second place. Now, these are two very accomplished riders, but you would have to think that with the qualifying pace that we saw from Campbell Williams and how well he gets around this track here, that he's got himself in a very good position.
Well, Matrix whole shot will go to the 60 machine of Brock Flynn, and he's still into the lead, but it won't be for long by the looks of it. A big charge here.
Around the outside, beautiful passing move from Campbell Williams on that Ride Red Honda machine, but Brock Flynn trying to get back up the inside. But swinging across from the outside there was Campbell Williams, and he will take the lead and set off and try to get himself out off into the distance.
Really important for these guys to do some clean laps at the start of this moto, do their best to try and open up a little bit of the lead. Connor Towell back there in third place. I saw him way down on the list as far as our starting order, not necessarily exactly where he should have been on the list. Williams off the track.
Yes, completely off the track. I was thinking he's stretched out a massive lead already. That's where we see that cloud of dust. So he's gone off the track where there was no water on the track whatsoever.
Must have been the outside line and just pushed over the top of it. So regaining the lead is Flynn on the 60 machine. Williams has to do it all again. Towell, he is right there as well. So this could develop into a good race early on in this one. 43 machine, Mather back there in fourth place in front of Dennis, who has been exceptionally fast at the races earlier on this year as well, leading into this championship.
Well, the rider that we spoke about so much pre-event number 1, all the pre-race hype, Caden Minier, the young junior from Western Australia on the factory KTM machine. I cannot see his name up in the top 15 at the moment.
19th place.
Long way back and a lot of work to do, so not quite sure whether he's made a little bit of a mistake, but certainly a mistake there from Campbell Williams has put Connor Towell all over the back of the Honda rider. Now, these two have had some serious battles over the previous years. They're the same age group. They've both shifted up to senior at the same time. Both from New South Wales, and almost regularly on every weekend that you could count throughout the year would be battling each other. That beautiful line once again from Campbell Williams around the outside.
Worked the last lap around, taking the lead right now. Mather with a small mistake there on the 43 machine, just getting into that one. Jack Mather.
Jack Mather's a fantastic rider out of Queensland under the tutelage of...
third place down, Towell.
Oh, and he's taking a track marker with him as well. He's facing the wrong way. He's going to have to do a U-turn here.
Massive lead over the rest of the field, though. So still maintains that 5th position. Unfortunate for him, I think it just overbalanced coming through that turn there and just went to the outside. And, not the way you wanted to start this one. We will have a look at a replay here, the Honda replay. Have a look just in the background here, or right in the middle of the screen. Yep, just a little bit.
Didn't tip her over quite enough. A little bit of a high side on clearly a rut that's quite deep, I would think, coming out in the exit of that corner.
Possibly just caught him a little unaware as he went towards the end of that one.
Now we've got a little bit of a lead.
Yep, starting to open it up now. No mistakes is the order for Williams. He doesn't need to repeat what he did the lap before. Looks like Brock Flynn still sits there in second place. Jack Mather in third. Byron Dennis still back there in fourth, with Connor Towell maintaining that 5th place position.
Yeah, fantastic start to the race here. Moto 1 of the MX3 by Maxxis Tyres. And have a look at how smooth and calculated Campbell Williams is looking. That looks to me like a kid that knows his way around the Wonthaggi circuit. But this is what Campbell Williams looks like when he's on fire. Sometimes can make the odd mistake here or there. But when he is riding exceptionally well, it's just poetry in motion. And I'll never forget, it was a couple of years ago, the very first event that he rode for us was a state championship round for the Vic titles against a lot of these guys here that we're seeing on screen. He had a first turn crash, came from dead last, come through the pack and still won by about 6 seconds. So the kid has speed. And as you can see how smooth he is, we would have remembered watching him in that race last year when he got a fair bit of TV time. I believe it was at Maitland. Looks so smooth and calculated.
Byron Dennis on screen, the 23 machine. He was back there in 4th place on the gas. As we said, having a good start to the year. You see our super slow-mo just momentarily there, finish line. And none of our riders coming across at the moment. 21 machine is Deacon Pace.
We'll take a little bit of a look here. The Honda replay.
This will be the start of lap number 2, I reckon.
Campbell Williams and then a snarling pack of riders coming in behind him. How about that for a beautiful slow-mo there? Great part of the track too. You can really see how well prepared it is, the moisture in the track, the different lines that the riders are taking. That's what it's all about.
Look how grouped up this part of the battle is going on. Somewhere deep in the pack. We'll try and it looks like Hunter Collins on the outside there, the 664 machine. Who else is he battling at the moment? Number 18, possibly that was Miles Gilmore.
A great job by Byron Dennis up there, who's still got a couple of years of juniors left in him. He's only 2 seconds behind Jack Mather, who's in 3rd place. Jack Mather, 1.8, almost 2 seconds behind Brock Flynn. Campbell Williams is the one that's laid down the gauntlet here and dropped the hammer. He's got himself 4.3 seconds over 2nd place rider Brock Flynn. So if things continue the way they're going, the one question mark we may have over Campbell Williams could potentially be fitness with that shoulder blade. So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, Campbell Williams trained by JP physio, of course, John Park, who trains all the boys with the Beaton's Pro Formula setup. So fitness is not a problem off the bike. It's just a matter of how strong that shoulder is.
Jed Aslup, the 32 machine, he was just on screen a moment ago. This is a battle for around about 10th place, so there's plenty going on. I did see Pretuda back there also, who was up there in 5th place, just on screen there. He's going backwards, so I'm not too sure what's going on there, because he looked comfortable back in 5th place.
Well, somehow Caden Minnie has made himself up into the top 10 already. The last time you mentioned him, he was 19th.
Yep.
And he only finds himself 1 second behind Ryan Alexanderson in 9th place. So there's a bunch of those riders. Let's watch Caden Minnie and see how far he can make his way up through that pack.
Well, there's 410 Cannon, so he's a few more places up in front of this particular rider. He's had to make the passes, but this is a great little battle going on between all of them. There is the 48 machine I spoke of just before, Tudor. Roll one rider down. Yep. 38 Keen.
Ty Keen, number 38 on the Ride Red Honda machine.
So yeah, these guys are all trying to settle themselves down. The 46 machine also on screen there. As we look to the replay here, that is Seth Birchall, the 27 machine. Look in the background just there. Oh, just touched the rear wheel of that Yamaha in front of him. It fell down that hole.
Once again, that built-up track, that'll get you. Race lead continuing to build for Campbell Williams. He's got himself a 9-second gap now over Brock Flynn. Byron Dennis on screen at the moment on the factory gas machine. Young junior with a huge future ahead of him, and someone that we'll be certainly seeing and hearing a lot more in this MX3 class. And if you have a look, you can see the riders that have yellow numbers on their bike versus the riders that have white numbers on their bike. The white numbers are the seniors, the riders that have turned 16 already. So they're either 16 or 17 years old and already been in seniors for a little bit of time. The yellow numbers in the background, they're the juniors, riders that are still not even turned senior yet, but they have the opportunity to get in here in this awesome MX3 class and get themselves on TV, showcase their talents to some of these factory teams that are here, and put their best foot forward and try to do the right thing for their pending MX career. So it's such a great class, this one. Can't speak highly enough of the MX3 class.
222 machine just on screen a moment ago was Rory Fairbrother. We saw a lot of great races out of him last year as well. Let's head down to Kate Pat on side.
Yeah, it's So, Caden Minier, we're all wondering why he's behind, considering he was the favourite. But what happened is he got stuck in the gate when he stalled his bike, so that is why he is not up the front.
Wow. Didn't expect that at all.
Did not expect that. That's a rookie mistake from someone that's such a good rider. However, that points out just how good of a job he's done to be able to come through as far as what he has already. So he made himself up into 8th place now and only finds himself 1.1 seconds behind Ryan Alexanderson.
Things heating up for second place. On screen, Flynn, the 60 machine, held the lead early and has maintained that second place, but he's starting to feel that pressure from Byron Dennis. Now, Dennis, we know, is a fast, fit rider, but he's going to really test himself here in this particular race as he looks to the outside here. Great view just to show how wide it is to go around the outside. Nice and quick there, dives to the inside. He's going to have to find a nice open spot to be able to make this pass. He's very strong down here in this particular part of the track. The last couple of laps, as he looks to the inside, if he gets a good run, he will be able to control, but it's going to be a big dive to try and make it into this one particular line. And there's plenty of pressure being applied to our second place rider at the moment of Flynn as they go into this long left-hander. Plenty of mistakes have been made already, even by our MX2 Pro riders. And Dennis continues to work across the back wheel of Flynn. Small mistake there, drops him back just a little bit, but with the lap speed, the lap times he has been producing over the last couple of laps, it won't be long till he's back onto that back wheel and continuing to charge and make that battle. Here it is, up the inside, through the woods. A good run through here will get him the inside control line, and it does. Good swing back by Flynn, but it's not going to work out for him this time around. Byron Dennis, the 23 machine, junior rider. This would be his first hit out in the MX3 in the championship, I think. I can't remember if he was in it last year, but a great run to second place at the moment.
Yeah, I don't believe he was. He's the same age bracket as Caden Minier, but I'm not quite sure if he got in there. He might have done a round or two. Might have to do a little bit of research there to suss it out. But what a fantastic job for Byron Dennis making his way up. As we have a little bit of a look at the slow-mo here, once again, it's these riders coming past, and the Gabriel off-road banners there in the background, flapping in the breeze here in the fantastic weather conditions that we've got here at Wonthaggi for round one. Coming through, looking like a Sunday stroll for race leader Campbell Williams. Incredible job for the Ride Red Honda.
12 seconds lead. I mean, that's enormous. In a field like this, you didn't, well, I certainly didn't expect to see this kind of a gap this early on, but I guess we do have a couple of our heavy hitters that aren't up the front due to obviously the start line problems, a few crashes, a few bar bangs. So I think we'll expect to see a little bit closer in the next race if everyone can get themselves off to a good start. But Williams is riding exceptional at the moment. He looks so comfortable. He looks like, as you said, a Sunday ride at the moment.
Yeah, and that's what he looks like when he's riding at his best. Caden Minier finds himself in 7th place now, so he's made up another position. However, once again, he still finds himself that 1 second behind Ryan Alexanderson. So these two riders are leapfrogging their way through the field together.
Ryan Alexanderson set the fastest lap time around that last lap at a 1:53. Everyone else is in the 1:54s or above. So he is still moving very quick as well. So if we can get these guys off to a good start, I think we've got plenty of potential to have some fantastic races and battles going on in this class. And hopefully we get to see that the next time they head out onto the track as well.
Well, I mentioned a little bit earlier on in the race that only question mark there may be over Campbell Williams could potentially be a fitness one. Not so much because of his on or off bike training, but just purely because of the shoulder injury. However, if you let him have a 15-second lead and he rides around like this, he can do that for an hour, I dare say. He might just have to stop for a pit stop to get a bit of fuel, perhaps. But that's about it. You let someone ride around and pick their lines like this and negotiate their way through, and that's not going to take too much energy. He can do this all day long, looking exceptionally smooth and calculated.
Was that a good battle just then for second place, or was that towel right onto the back wheel of the 60 machine?
Looks like we've still got a little bit of a gap there. We got obviously 15 seconds back to Byron Dennis, but then only 2 seconds between Dennis and Brock Flynn. No. So, no, I think we're looking back a little bit further here in the pack.
Nope. just seeing things, Lee.
Back to our race leader, Campbell Williams. If you have a little bit of a look here at his helmet and you think, what's going on with that peak? Surely that looks weird. What he's managed to do is he's got a goggle lens and he's taped that to the very end of the peak. So that performs two things. One is for roost protection. If you're in the middle of the pack and you duck your head down, gives you a little bit of extra roost protection for the goggles and the nose area. Also at that end part of the day when the sun is in that very unfriendly part of the sky, gives you a little bit of extra leverage on that peak to keep the sun out of your eyes. So for any of you wondering what's going on with that weird looking peak, it just happens to be a goggle lens strapped to the end of that peak on Campbell Williams' helmet.
That was one of the issues that a lot of the MX1 guys, the first guys out on track today, were talking about, the sun being so low. It was an early start for them guys, and the sun being so low was really difficult, they said, to try and see any of the lines, especially going up the faces of these jumps. It was right in their eyes and makes it extremely hard to stay in the line that you want or be able to see what you're about to ride into. You can see another rider up and over the finish line there. It looks like Byron Dennis. Byron Dennis in second place.
And Byron Dennis still doing it exceptionally well. Looking nice and clean out there. Still looking like he's got plenty of energy. His body language looks great on the bike. And for such a young junior to be up there in second place, that's incredible. Alex Anderson's made himself up to fourth place now, ahead of Connor Towell. And Minia is still back in seventh place. So Ryan Alexanderson has put on one of the charges of the race so far.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to try and pick him up, but a wide shot we might see where exactly he is. He is quite a long way back. Or what is he? He's only 6 seconds, 9 seconds. 9 seconds. Probably about to go across the start line, just in the top of shot there. So he's got a lot of work ahead of him, but the lap times he's doing at the moment, he's still churning
he's
out.
in with a chance.
Yeah.
There's a very, very slight chance of getting up into the top two, and a distinct possibility to get up into the top three. But just as we say that, Brock Flynn's closed in just a little bit on Byron Dennis and finds himself just 2.4 seconds behind. Kobe Hantis there, definitely a young star of the future, very young junior, a couple of years left in him. So he's someone out trying to cut his teeth here in the competitive MX3 class and doing a great job. Unfortunately, a bit of a mishap on the track there.
Well, just there, going across the screen, I think might have been those riders we spoke about leading into that long left-hand turn. There's the 2:15 machine on screen at the moment. That is Liam Jackson. He's in behind Prosciutto on the 48. So they work their way through, where's that? Just out of turn 3, turn 4. Over the back part of the track. There is Minia. Pearson down, 41 machine.
Yeah, so quite a few riders here, like we mentioned earlier in the MX2 class, and we saw a few crashes going on and a few rookie mistakes. I said that's the kind of thing we expect from the MX3. Out there in Moto 1, trying a little bit too hard, putting her on the ground, and we have
right there, Alexander, 62, perfect.
Alexanderson, fantastic job. And well, Caden Minia has made it up to 5th place as well.
So just behind these guys.
Only 2.3 seconds. So a lot of shuffling going on here in the latter stages. We've only got ourselves 30 seconds on the clock before the 2-lap to go board will come up. So
we've got second on screen at the moment. 6 seconds behind him is Alexanderson in 4th, who's closing in on 3rd. So right behind this guy is going to be a great battle soon between these two, especially with the lap times he's been doing. 3 seconds quicker than the rider in front of him. The wide shot just there showed him in the background as they go across here and then move towards this yellow flag. Another rider down just to the right of screen. There we go. 60 there in 3rd place. Just behind him, jumped into screen, is the 62. He is right there on him as well.
We've got enough time. And where is Caden Minia going to fit into the big scheme of things? He's only 1.1 seconds behind as well.
Well, Minia just did 52, 4 seconds faster than our leader.
Wow. So we have got a race on our hands, ladies and gentlemen, and we are about a lap and a half to go. So I don't think we're too far away now from Campbell Williams about to head over that finish line jump, and he will receive that last lap board.
Exactly where we need to be. Perfect. Is that Minia just in the back of shot just here?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah, perfect. So this is the good little battle over this last lap. Let's see how this one plays out.
Minia is all over the back of Ryan Alexanderson. So there we see we've got number 11 there, Caden Strobe. I think he may be a lapped rider. But this is the battle that we want to see. Ryan Alexanderson has a sneaky little look over his shoulder because he knows he's got company What a race we've got on our hands here. This is your fairy tale. Oh, no! Huge tuck at the front wheel and almost takes Caden Minia down with him. Oh, that is devastating news for Ryan Alexanderson for such a fantastic charge he's put on throughout that race.
I think they've got a big enough lead. Here we go. It looked like we're going to the replay, but no, this is the last lap board that's out now for our race leader and the rest of the riders to come through.
So 3 seconds Caden Minia needs to try to make up if he's going to make up another position, which will slot him into top 3 ahead of Brock Flynn, which is going to be very, very hard to do. He unfortunately got caught up a little bit with the crash from Ryan Alexanderson there, which cost him easy 1 to 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's going to be tough for him to close in on that one. But it is Williams that is going to be leading it around. He probably half race. This is... Well, that is Alexanderson, so Williams will be getting very close to the finish line, I would think, with the lead that he has.
Campbell Williams on screen.
Oh, sorry,
at the
my
moment.
apologies, my apologies.
The left-hander, long sweeping left-hander that will head up this slight hill. One of the fastest sections of the track, but once again, looking like a Sunday ride for Campbell Williams. He's backed it down a bit and only has a 10.5 second lead now over Byron Dennis, but that's by choice, not by anything other. He has controlled this lead and done exceptionally well here in Moto 1. He still looks like he's got plenty of energy. Nice and stylish up and over that big step up there. A little bit of a look over his right shoulder is a rider they're trying to make out who that is. I think that may be one of the lapped riders, because it's certainly not Byron Dennis.
It was Deacon Pace.
There are only 1 or 2 corners to go there from Campbell Williams to take the checkered flag. And here it is, checkered flag out. Race 1 winner from the red Honda machine, Campbell Williams. Fantastic ride, and that is the way you start your championship campaign. Byron Dennis will come through to take second place.
It's a long way back to the rest of the field, isn't it? These guys had such a huge lead. As we look to the finish line, who's going to come across in third? Did Minia come across in third?
Yeah, it looks to be. Somehow he's managed to...
There's the 48 machine on screen. That is Brett Shooter, I believe, that has fallen back just a little bit further than I thought. I expected him to go. We don't know what's going on bike. Small mistakes like that make it very difficult. So as these riders just finish out this race, let's head down to Kate with our race winner.
Yes, indeed. I've got Campbell Williams right behind me. Campbell, I'm going to need you, my friend. We have the winner of the Max's MX3. Well done. You absolutely dominated in that race. Tell me how you're feeling, because I know you've got a broken shoulder.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too bad at the moment. All I knew is I had to get a top 5 start, and I should have been right to make my way to the front and then just settle for the lead, I guess.
And you were out so far in front, so you're injured now, but you must be feeling so smooth out there.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad. Shoulder's holding up well and everything else, so everything's going good. I'd like to thank Honda and my dad for all the help.
Good work, Campbell. You go and get rested and chill out. We'll see you for the next moto. Congratulations. Number 1 of the Maxis MX3, Campbell Williams.
Fantastic job there from Campbell Williams. Taking the chocolates here in Moto 1 of the MX3, brought to you by Maxis Tyres. Let's have a look at our results here. Campbell Williams from Byron Dennis and Caden Minia coming through in third place from basically last place, Danny.
Yeah, that's an exceptional ride, and really looking forward to seeing him hit out in Moto number 2. Ty Keen also back there. Ryan Alexanderson, after his crash, ends up in 9th place.
Such a shame for Ryan Alexanderson. Fantastic charge through the pack. Jed Alsop in 12th place there. Jake Cannon, Kobe Drew, some big names there. And Kobe Hantis, all young juniors with a huge future. Giles Campbell, Cody Kilpatrick and Angus Pearce.
Hunter Collins, after a good start back there in 22nd. Also Rory Fairbrother just in front of him. Seth Birchall all the way back there in 27th. I expect a little bit more out of Seth. I think he is going to be someone that we can also expect to see some good race results out of as we move forward in this championship.
Absolutely. What a killer way to start MX3 season for 2022. Let's take a look at the Honda highlights here. And a great jump out of the gate for a few riders. We had Brock Flynn with a fantastic hole shot there in the Husqvarna machine, but also good starts from Connor Towell. But Campbell Williams got himself up where he needed to be. Huge crash there out of that turn 2. And that seemed to be the theme throughout the race. Crash after crash after crash. A few MX3 riders just trying to find their feet, trying to stay nice and smooth. But at the end of the day, it was Campbell Williams who showed everyone what it was all about here at Wonthaggi.
This is great development class. We've said it last year, again this year. We really expect to see some probably new names shine and start to show how strong they can be in motocross. And right now we're seeing some of maybe the more established ones, but there's going to be some more new names jump up there as well.
Yeah, and that's the beauty, as we've said a few times, of the MX3 class, is that we've got our riders that we know, that we've heard a lot about. There it goes down the replay that we saw there of Ryan Alexanderson after such an impressive charge through the pack. But there'll be names that aren't on the tip of your tongue, such as a Cooper Holroyd, for an example, that can be right up there and battle for race wins that might not necessarily be household names just yet.
Well, what a way to start today, mate. It's been exceptional watching these first few races. The track is settling in perfectly. It's going to deliver some fantastic racing as we move forward in this. Let's head back down to Kate Peck, who's also got another one.
That's me. That's me indeed. What an unbelievable morning of racing. It's just been absolute chaos out there, but the sun is still shining and we've still got so much more coming up this afternoon. So make sure you tune in on live TV on SBS and Stan Sport, because there is a hell of a lot more action still to come. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, Kate. Well, we've only just got underway here. We would like to thank you so much for joining us for our live stream with Moto 1's in the books. We have got so much action still to come. Make sure you join us on SBS or Stan. We have got so many ways that you can watch this, and we won't be too far away. So make sure you stick around, and we will see you soon.